Yeah. Morning. Welcome to it. Happy Thursday. Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith. Vic, good morning. How you doing, man?
How are you doing, my friend?
Hanging in there. It's it's early on a Thursday. We're grinding, and Moj is back in studio, so I haven't decided how I'm doing yet. I'll let you know next segment.
He should be well rested. He didn't work yesterday. He worked like 5 minutes on the show.
Let me put it this way. I'm as happy to see you as you are to see me. Okay, so we'll leave it at that.
All right, good. We have so much to get into today. I've been doing a lot more diving into Broncos-Packers this weekend, and a revelation came over me last night that we'll get into here coming up at about 7:15.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Lewis says he's got a revelation.
Oh, I got a revelation.
Lewis, you haven't been here long enough to have revelations.
What can I have?
Listen, you don't speak
what's
to God
like
directly. I talk to God directly.
What's half a revelation? Like, what's a mini one?
We call those ideas.
I had an idea.
All right.
I would say that my revelations are the ones like when I talk to God. Yours are like when Aaron Rodgers goes around licking frogs.
Oh, is that
That's what I'm thinking what it is, yeah.
Good. Well,
Moser, you talked to God directly?
Yeah, dude, we're tight.
Did he tell you why all your bees died? Did you ever get an answer on that one?
wow.
It was his plan.
It was his plan, huh? Well, we've got tons to get into. Broncos and Packers this weekend, and for all intents and purposes, playoffs are starting up, and we'll dive into that here coming up in a little bit. But the Avs and the Nuggets are back in action tonight. Moj is back in studio. Avs back from a long East Coast roadie. The Nuggets with a 3-game East Coast road trip of their own, which, Vic, it went really well. And you were down at Ball Arena the other day talking to the guys, talking to Jamal Murray, David Adelman. And I want to dive into the Nuggets as they've had a couple of days off for the first time in a little while. And here we go again, back to Sacramento tonight.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what it looks like because I think they did need a few days to rest their legs a little bit.
Do you guys remember the show we did the day after they lost to Dallas? They had lost their 4th straight at home, and I was disgusted, and I came into the show, and I couldn't take it. But I also did say that morning, Nelly, you can pull the tape, I said, this is what this team is. They will disappoint you at times, but then they'll run off a streak. And I said that morning, they will win all 4 road games. They can do that tonight. They can win all 4 road games. And tonight, Sacramento will not have Sabonis. They won't have, who's their shooting guard? Levine. And granted, they didn't have Sabonis last time, and they beat the Nuggets, but I think tonight they take care of business. They sweep the roadie.
They're going for 11 in a row on the road.
The NBA record for road wins is 16. If the Nuggets don't get it, OKC will.
Well, we're going to talk about OKC here in just a second, but I did want to get into a little bit of Cam Johnson, who on his podcast, The Old Man and the Three, talked about the emergence of Spencer Jones, which while Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon have been hurt, his production has been vital.
He's a real consistent guy that puts in a lot of work, puts in a lot of effort, and he does what is necessary, what the coaches want, what his teammates need in order to get him on the floor. Right? So he's one of those guys that kind of understands like, hey, to get on the floor, I need to be a really good point of attack defender and be able to execute, be in the right spots, cut when I need to cut, spot up when I need to spot up. I put a lot of work in the summer, and for him to be reaping the benefits of it relatively quickly too is pretty cool to see. A
little bit of a blessing in disguise that while you were without 2 starters, you all of a sudden had one of your two-way guys emerge as somebody who, as David Adelman said yesterday, Vic, you're going to have a hard time keeping off the floor when everybody's back healthy.
Well, he's played so well, and he's got 50 games. They got 50 games for these 2-way contracts. And when I say 50 games, whether you play or not, if you have a uniform on, that counts as a game before they have to make him a guaranteed contract. The Nuggets have a big decision to make. This is a huge decision. They do have a roster spot left, right? So they can utilize that roster spot on Spencer Jones. But they're only a couple $100,000 under the apron, which means if they convert his contract to a guaranteed contract, they would waltz into that apron again, and then you get the repeater tax, and then you get the chaos that we saw just last season. So what do? How do they get Spencer Jones signed to a full-time contract without having to face the apron?
Got to deal somebody.
Yeah.
I know there's a guy that I'd like to deal, a guy that's actually been getting some PT, a guy that's been playing some basketball, but does anybody want him at that price?
Talking about Zeke?
I ain't talking about your mom.
Oh, okay. He hasn't been here long enough to go there, but that's fine.
Sorry,
welcome.
First
hey,
segment
welcome
on
to
a
the
Thursday.
show, Louis.
Yeah, welcome back.
Louis, welcome to the show. You got mommed.
I want to continue. Here's David Adelman talking about the emergence of Spencer Jones. And as Vic said, he's got 50 games to play as a two-way player, and he would have 31 more available to him before the Nuggets had to make a decision. So at least in the interim, while CB and AG are healing up, they can have that unencumbered. But you're right, Vic, the bill comes due.
I think Spence has probably surprised other teams. I mean, the fact that he's making threes, and then what he complements that with, when you put stuff on tape, it's a big deal. And he's had a couple moments where he's flooded the baseline when they doubled Nicola, and he's dunked on people. Like he's showing people his skill set. To your point, I did not expect us to score the ball like we have, but I do think part of the reason why we're scoring at such a high rate is that second unit's been better too. And having, Jonas be so efficient in his minutes, the way Tim can get hot, and obviously what Cam does to complement both sides of it, starting five and the second unit, it's just come very easy to us. And not to mention our points off turnovers haven't been where I want it, but our turnovers have been down. We really have taken care of the ball. And the assisted turnover thing is such a big deal because that's more shots to the rim, it's more opportunities.
Moj, you really see the depth of this team that they tried to rebuild this offseason, trading away MPJ, bringing in a guy like Cam, bringing in Tim Hardaway Jr., bringing in Bruce Brown, Valanciunas. They have had to rest on it and lean on it, rather, the last couple of weeks, for sure.
There's no doubt about it. Spencer Jones, though, guys, let me try to relay this to you the best I possibly can. I've been waiting. There's a song by Foreigner. I've been waiting for a girl like you. I've been waiting.
It's on Foreigner
We all know that
my
song.
first album.
Yeah, well, it's so good, right? For a girl like you know that song. I've been waiting for a guy like Spencer. I've been waiting because this guy who is unheralded out of Stanford and so on and so forth steps in and the guy can play the game. Matt, I'm from this school. Vic knows this. Can he play the game? Yeah. Can he help you? You bet. Is he helping you? You're damn right he is. Well, then find a way to have him do more of that. While you're waiting for AG, while you're waiting for CB, while you're trying to figure out what the rotation is going to be when it gets down to really brass tacks time in this league, figure it out. And you know what? If you don't have the space, make the space.
Do you realize
Make it. Make the space. For a Spencer Jones.
And Nelly, I thought we had this conversation. When he comes up with a song, you're not supposed to go fish it out. The problem we have on this show, Louis, is that Moser thinks music, and so does Nelly. So everything we do on this show goes back to music.
I'm not complaining. This is a fantastic
It's
song.
a great song.
And
Again,
Vic,
it's my first album.
I figured this was one of the few times that Moser's musical tangent actually was directly relevant. We have been waiting for a Spencer Jones type to increase the depth, so
Have we not?
maybe that's my bad.
Hey, can I go down the list of guys that I was hoping would be that guy?
Yeah,
Did
please.
you- I mean,
Yeah,
do you-
because there have been a
please.
lot.
Okay. Well, I mean, for God's sake, there's been a whole hell of a lot, and one of them now resides. Gillespie resides someplace else. A lot of guys reside someplace else. But I just throw out random names, and I'll go like to even Bones Highland as a guard.
Sure.
You're waiting for these guys to actually come in and make a difference. I had hopes for Pickett. I had high hopes for Zeke. I still have hopes for Duran. But you know what? Your hit rate right now in the last 5 years ain't that great. You hit with Spencer Jones. At least you have so far. He seems like a player.
Well, you know what's happening?
Find a way to keep him.
The NBA and this G League stuff, it's working. This G League is really, it's promoting talent that otherwise would be lost. They are finding guys across the league who are on these two-way contracts because when you sign a guy to a two-way contract, you're like, oh, can he play? We're not sure yet. Let's see if he can play. Well, yeah, Spencer Jones could play. Did you guys see Ryan Nembhard come in here last week?
Yeah.
The Dallas kid?
Yep.
Two-way contract. They're all over the league right now. Guys have two-way contracts everywhere. And these are dudes who are either drafted late or undrafted. Spencer Jones
He's
is
an
undrafted.
undrafted guy. Absolutely undrafted, has had to make his own way to the world. And good for him. I'm glad he is. I like what he's doing. I'm happy all about it. I mean, he was a Blazer at one point in the summer league, but he's a Denver Nugget now, and so He's just a bit of a later bloomer, which is fine with me.
I just
Stop
I'm
sneezing,
curious.
by the way. Stop it. Do something about your face.
What?
I'm just not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for you to expectorate things out of your body.
I'm very excited to find out how the Nuggets attack this with, as you mentioned, 31 days left to make a decision. They have a roster spot remaining. They have guys at the end of the bench who really don't contribute.
Yeah.
They don't play.
Yep.
And it's not as easy as Moser thinks. Moser's like, well, just trade one of those guys. Who wants a Moj? Especially with heavy contracts. I love when people say that. It's the funniest thing in the world. It really makes me laugh. It tickles me.
Let me go back.
Guys like Moser. Like Moser.
Stop.
Yeah, just take those guys that don't play and trade them.
Let me go back, Vic. I understand how hard it can be, especially in the NBA, to trade contracts that you don't want. But I've seen some ugly contracts be traded. You just got to incentivize it a little bit.
Well, how do you do that when you don't have draft picks?
I don't know.
That's the key.
I do.
See, these aren't the Oklahoma City Thunder you're dealing with. You don't have a bevy of draft picks that you can attach.
I don't know how far down you want to go, or how far into the future you want to go. You
can't go any farther.
Actually, you're right. You know what? You've done it so much, you can't go any farther. You're right about that. It's an excellent point, Vic. I figure it out.
The only thing you can do.
Kid needs to stay around.
The only thing you can do, and they're going to face it in the offseason. Same thing's going to come up. To trade somebody that doesn't have value, you have to attach that person to somebody of value. And that's it.
I just don't know what it would be that they would attach. You know, I mean, they don't have many sweeteners left. So here's why I bring up and start with the depth this morning on a Thursday. Because the Nuggets went out, they lost to OKC in 7, and it was clear that I think from a physical standpoint, from a perimeter defense standpoint, certainly from a bench scoring standpoint, without Jokic on the floor, they needed a little bit more pop. And it seems so far they've managed to find it. That being said, they're not the only ones that got better. The Oklahoma City Thunder last night, 138-89 over Phoenix. They're now 24-1 on the season. They match Golden State for the best start ever through 25 games. They are on cruise control.
They're going to break
OKC.
the record. Yeah, they're going to break the record this year. That team, barring injury, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I've never seen such chemistry. I've never seen such unity. I know that Golden State had players, but they aren't as deep. Golden State wasn't as deep as this team.
Not even close.
Not even close. The second unit, I would make this case right now. Oklahoma City's second unit would make the playoffs.
Oh, that's that. You may have something there, and maybe not just strictly their second unit, but
in the Eastern Conference.
I was reading potentially, Vic. Potentially, I was reading that without Shea on the floor, they still have a net rating of like plus 16. Like it's ridiculous right now.
It's a credit to obviously their GM, who is the best GM in the game.
Oh, Sam is so good.
Sam Presti's ridiculous. It's a credit to Mark Daigneault, who his face bothers me, but he's a great coach. He obviously has a system in place, and they take advantage of the rules. They understand the game. They understand spacing. They understand it all. A friend of mine texted me and said, why is it that Oklahoma City can get buckets so easily? And they do. It's because they have guys on the floor, all of them outside of Hartenstein, all of them can dribble, and they can go, and they can get by their player. And when you can do that, it forces the defense to rotate, every single one of them. And when the defense has to rotate, guess what? You end up with an open shot.
Vic, they've got the best point differential in NBA history through 25 games. They've outscored opponents this year, Moj, how about this, by 439. So the reason why I wanted to start with Spencer Jones and the reason why it's going to be so important to get Christian Braun, obviously, and AG, obviously, back, but have that continued improvement from guys like Peyton Watson and certainly the emergence of Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway Jr. making shots is because Oklahoma City, as Vic said, is probably going to break the record. They're probably not going to have to do too much or break a real sweat in the back half of the year. Don't you think, Vic? I mean, they should be able to coast right into the finish. But all that matters is a best of 7. And I'm not so scared if the Nuggets are fully healthy, no matter what they're doing. But I do think it's really important that throughout the course of the season, a guy like Spencer Jones, who proves to you that he deserves playing time, that he's a valuable piece for you, doesn't get put on the shelf to the point where you get to the postseason where you're playing a team that likes to go a little bit smaller, you need some perimeter defense, and that guy still isn't a part of the rotation, maybe because you didn't bring him in. I don't think they can afford to be picky here. I think that no matter what, they've got to find a way, as Moj said, make it work, Moj.
Do you guys notice most of these two-way contracts, most of these guys who are hanging on that never had an opportunity and suddenly are finding one, most of them are guards who guard the length of the court?
There's one way to earn playing time at every level.
Yeah.
Play defense.
Now, I can go up and down the list. That Spencer kid for Golden State, who is putting on a show right now, the guy that is the former lacrosse player, stud lacrosse player.
Pat
He
Spencer.
looks like he's 47 years old, first of all.
Yeah.
He looks like he hit puberty at the age of 7. That guy. He is doing wonders at Golden State. That dude's a pest full court. Ryan Nembhard, a pest full court. Spencer Jones, same deal. The guy for Philly, you can go up and down the line. All these young players who don't have full-time contracts are all guards who guard, who don't want to do, who actually, they do the dirty work that most of these guys don't want to do.
I always tell high school kids, especially going into college, there's one way that you can guarantee yourself playing time, and it's play defense. It's compete on that end of the floor. You'll always, always have a job, no matter what. On the other side, I'm not allowed to have revelations, apparently. I was told first thing this morning, can I have an epiphany? Is that okay?
Yes. If you say an epiphany, that's fine. Revelation's a little too much for you.
All right, so I had an epiphany last night. I mentioned that OKC's on cruise control. I think Broncos country's been on cruise control. But it's time to take it off, switch back to manual, and put your foot on the gas. And I'll explain next. It has been a while since you could hold your head up high, Broncos country. Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith. By the way, it is a Nuggets Ticket Thursday, and if you want to win tickets to Nuggets Rockets on Monday, text the keyword Dikembe. Dikembe. That's Dikembe to 303-504-0925 with your first and last name. Grab a pick'em plan for the 25-26 season, starting at $100 for 4 games. Save on fees and get priority access for playoffs. Secure your pick'em plan at nuggets.com/pick'em. Again, that keyword to win tickets right now, Dikembe. Good luck. So I told you I had a revelation. You guys said, no, you're not allowed to have revelations. I said, okay. Apparently, I can't have a revelation anymore. So I guess I had an epiphany. That really, it's been about a decade since Broncos football has been incredibly important at this time of year. Now, last year, they went on a pretty good run. They got to 10 wins, but I don't know that anybody really had any expectations going into Buffalo. Moj, did you have expectations going into Buffalo last year in the wild card round?
Yeah, I did. I had an expectation they'd get trounced.
Okay, good. I think that makes the point right there. Vic, how about you?
You need to clarify the kind of expectation. I thought they would get smoked, and they did.
Well, no, I think that's exactly what I was looking for. How about you, Vic?
I thought the expectation was to make it to the playoffs. It was never to win a playoff game, especially on the road against that team. So I didn't have many expectations going into that game.
So I remember having this conversation a couple of days ago with you guys where we were talking about what our preseason predictions were for this year. And I told you, look, I was at 13 wins. Based upon what they did, based upon their schedule and the rest of the league, I was pretty bullish on what they could do this year. Now, Vic, you said just get to 10 wins this year by whatever means necessary, right? Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I said get to the playoffs, and the playoffs is usually 10 wins.
Okay, and Moj, you had them 11-6, if memory serves.
I guess I did. We go down our list. I guess I did have them 11-6. I thought I had them a little bit better because I like shouting at Dub. See, here's what I'm really good at. Big time Dub. That is a dub. Win. I see. I'm good at that. The loss. I'm not so good at that.
Big time win.
See, there's an example right there. There you go. It's a singing dub. So I thought I had
Loss?
I hate that. I thought I had them a little bit more, but I thought they would be right in that ballpark, and they've exceeded my expectations.
And so that's where I was going. They're sitting here 11-2. That number would either meet Moj's expectations and exceed yours, Vic. So my question to both of you is, have your expectations, big picture-wise, for what you expect out of this team this season changed?
Well, they are now for me, because if they can get the number 1 seed, it's way, way, way different than being an 11-win team. If you're a 13, 14-win team and you're the number 1 seed, it's way different.
The reason they've changed for me, and they have, and you're allowed to have change, the reason they've changed is because the rest of the conference is not what I thought it would be. I thought the competition in this conference, I mean, take a look at what we're looking. Kansas City is almost gone. Baltimore is almost gone. Buffalo can't play defense. So the usual suspects that you assume will be there at the end are not. Burrow, I mean, look what they've done. So, yeah, expectations change because the competition changed. The playing field has changed. Why not the Broncos?
Okay. So what have they changed to?
Give it a shot.
Yeah,
See if you can get to the Super Bowl. Hey, you know what? 2005, when that season started, Bronco fans, see if you could put on your generational hat here. See if you can rewind 20 years. For me, it's very difficult to rewind 20 days because I don't remember yesterday. But if you can go back 20 years and you look at that 2005 Jake Plummer-led Broncos team, at the beginning of the season, did you have Super Bowl expectations? Like real Super Bowl? Because they were 1 game away. They hosted the AFC title game right here. Dude, and had they won that game, they would have won it all.
Oh, dude, you're so right about that. And I loved that team. Man, did I love that team.
But did you have Super Bowl expectations before that season?
No.
Just go back and
I
think
did
about
not.
who's on that team. Who was on that team? How many superstars can you name on that team? It was built very much like this team, to be honest with you.
A little anonymous, is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying there weren't it wasn't.
Brand
Champ
name
Bailey
talent?
was on that team.
Yeah.
Okay? How many Hall of Famers were on that team? Was John Lynch on that team?
I have to look here, Vic. Let me go back and look. Here's the roster on that team.
I think Lynch just joined.
Mike Anderson was on that team. Rod Smith was at the going towards the end. Tatum Bell, Ashley Lalee.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Putzier was on that team.
Okay, so here's my question. What are your expectations now? Is it give it a shot?
Yeah.
Is it Super Bowl or bust? Is that where we're at? At 11-2, but what is it, week 14 here? The Broncos sit number 1 seed, not only in the AFC, but in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, right now, Broncos get knocked out in the divisional round. Are we disappointed?
Yes.
Moj?
Absolutely. Hey,
Yeah.
To prove Vic's point, though, that defense was pretty damn good. Think about some of these.
Al
names.
Wilson was on that defense.
Al Wilson's a stud. Ian Gold was a stud on that team at that time. John Lynch was playing. Trevor Price was there.
We're straying from the path because here's what I'm really trying to ask, and I'll just stop
Well,
beating around the bush.
Let me stray here for a second, please. I like to stray just for 1 second, please. Vic is very much correct that team is a lot like this team. So if you're going back all that way, that team was a lot like where we are right now. Did the expectations change as the year went on? Absolutely, they did, Matt.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out from both of you what's okay this year. If it's a disappointment if they lose in the divisional round, now for some reason they slip up, let's say they drop a couple of these games, the Chargers stay hot, they win a couple of really good ones down the stretch, Broncos could lose the West, I guess, presumably. Now, I think that's very unlikely, but not getting the number 1 seed, the Broncos might have to win out to get the 1 seed. That's a reality. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe they can have one slip up along the way, but because they beat the Raiders, they now own the tiebreaker with the Patriots. All they have to do is finish even or better. That's all they have to do. So my question to you, Vic, is what's okay? Is a loss in the championship game this year all right?
Listen, dude, those things change as the season progresses. You got 4 games to play. If you get through this 4-game death march, is what I call it, I think it's the toughest 4-game stint of the season. If you get through these 4 games and you're still rolling, hell yeah, those expectations are large. But if you stumble through these 4 games, expectations change. That's just human nature.
Okay, I think that's very fair. Would you agree with that, Moj?
I think it's breathable.
Okay. Because I'm listening to Sean Payton. I'm listening to Bo Nix yesterday, and it comes over me here that Broncos country hasn't been in this position in a minute. And I think everybody was pretty jazzed last year that they made the playoffs. It was a fun first half in Buffalo, and then they just weren't the better team. They overachieved last year, in my opinion. Sean Payton, in the first year with a rookie quarterback, makes it that far. It was impressive. But now here we are at 11-2. And this is a town that has a very high standard for winning. And you've got 4 games here coming up that for all intents and purposes are playoff games. The playoffs start now. They do. Because if you want to win the Super Bowl, if your expectations are Super Bowl or AFC championship, you've got to finish with the 1st or 2nd seed, bare minimum. But if you really want it, it's the 1 seed, and you'd be disappointed if not. And so my point is this. The epiphany I had was we're already in it. Playoffs don't start in a month. Playoffs start on Saturday, and Bo Nix said he can't wait.
Love it. I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. I think our fans are going to be extremely motivated, very hostile. Probably going to be similar to the Chiefs game a few weeks ago. This will be, seems to be a playoff game, so this will be an intense game on the field. It'll be an intense environment. We're going to be ready to go on our side and pretty much going to be like playoff football. And you get to December, and that's what you're playing for, and we're extremely excited about it. Happy to be in this position this year.
Moj, it doesn't start in a month. It starts on Sunday.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong schedule-wise, but if you want to match up against another good team, then you're probably right.
Of all the teams they play on the way home, ironically enough, this Sunday's game is probably the one they could most afford to lose. It's a non-conference game. That doesn't hurt your tiebreaker situation. That's provided New England loses one more. But this would be the one if you still want to maintain the tiebreaker.
Which one of these teams do you take more seriously as a Super Bowl contender, Broncos or Packers, Moj?
It's a great question.
Packers have gotten farther. Packers they've got the resume. They've done it. This assemblage of Packers with Jordan Love and that team has been to the NFC Championship game.
At the same time, the level of competition in the AFC, in my opinion, is not as great. I'm sure that I feel about the New England Patriots the same way that Patriots people feel about the Denver Broncos.
100%.
They look at them as an 11-2 team, and they can do some very good things, but are they really, really for real? That's what I'm sure they're saying. And then when I look around the rest, I don't know if the Jaguars are for real. We'll find out. The Bills certainly have major flaws. The Steelers are barely hanging on for dear life. There's nobody else out there that really frightens me. So if you're talking about the path that will get you there, then I like the Broncos' path. When I look at the Green Bay Packers and the teams they have to go through, including the defending champions likely, including the Rams, who I think are the best team in football, in Seattle, then I think their path is more difficult. So it's a loaded question, to be honest with you, one that's not easily answerable. But if you're asking me what my answer is right this second,
That's what I'm asking.
then the path is easier for the Denver Broncos.
You know what's crazy about the Packers? They've got a better road record than they do home record. So I don't think going on the road affects them as much. This game is going to be scary. I think this is such a great measuring stick game for the Broncos. I really do.
And that's where I wanted to get to, because they're not favored. And one of the topics of conversation is, well, are they being disrespected? They're at home. They're the number one seed in the NFL. Is this disrespect that Vegas thinks that they shouldn't be the favorite in this game? Isn't that what's supposed to happen if you're the one seed in the NFL? Which is why I think proving grounds have arrived. Like, I don't think they're disrespected, Moj. Not at all. I think that Green Bay should be favored. They've been in the playoffs more than Denver has the last few years. Shoot, they went down to Dallas and humiliated them a couple of years ago in the first round. I think the odds makers have it right here, Vic. I think that the Packers should be favored, and until Denver proves that they can do this consistently against teams with a winning record, I think this is where we're going to be, in this 1 foot in the pool. Yeah, I mean, I'd like them to give it a shot type of thing, and my expectations have changed since before the year, but we are still looking for proof of concept against a very good team, aren't we, Moj?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
However, can I tackle some perception and presumptions
Please.
about the Green Bay Packers? A lot of people are expecting them to come in, and man, what a vertical attack. Jordan Love, yards passing this season. Okay, Jordan Love is regarded as a hell of a quarterback. Yards passing, 3,028, which is less than 100 yards more than Bo Nix. Bo Nix almost has as many yards passing as Jordan Love. Now, he's got it on fewer pass attempts. Bo Nix is more of a short passer. You know, he's dumps and bubbles and swing. But the passing yards are nearly the same. The Denver Broncos have a receiver in Cortland Sutton who has more receiving yards than their best receiver. I don't think the offenses are as far off as we assume. Again, the assumption is Green Bay's got this offense, watch out. They're not that great.
Well, Vegas is telling you that they're not much better than Denver. They're telling you they're only one score right now better than Denver. It's up to Denver to prove it. And Sean Payton was asked yesterday about having a 10-game winning streak with an 11-win team and still being an underdog at home.
I don't really pay attention to that until, look, we know we're playing a good football team. That's something that we have no control over. We've got 4 tough opponents the next 4 weeks. 3 of the 4 of them are at home. We're counting on our crowd this week, not just at the line of scrimmage, but while they're in the huddle. I go back to a few weeks ago, and that communication that exists from the opponent when they're in the huddle, you'd be surprised when some teams' stadiums have it figured out. The quarterback to the group in the huddle, if that it all gets blurry, you have problems. And I thought our last home game with Kansas City was significant, and I'm counting on it being even at a higher level. So once you start winning some games, they recognize the significance of it, and ultimately that's what you have to have. Yeah, we're playing a good team.
I said Broncos country was in cruise control. It's been about a decade since we've really had to wrestle with these feelings. I think it's very important that Broncos country realizes that we need to start to get into the mentality that we had about a decade ago, where you come into Mile High and this place is going to be a snake pit.
Moser, are you wrestling with your feelings?
Not really. I'm just in a prove it to me mode. We'll see what happens.
I'm not
Prove
sure
it to
anybody's
me.
wrestling with their feelings, Matt, but I understand where you're coming from. But you want us to go from A to B. You want us to suddenly hit the gas pedal. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna ease into that because
Like an old man into the bath?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a cautious driver here. I'm not gonna go from, oh my God, this last decade has sucked. They made the playoffs last year. Super Bowl or bust, everybody. I'm not doing that.
Well, let me make
I'm not doing it. I
let
mean,
me make
you're
it
not
as clear
going to
as I
get me to
possibly
take the
can.
bait. You want me to take the bait. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to take my expectations there right now.
This is as clear as I can possibly make it, and I'll leave it at this. If I felt the Denver Broncos were the Super Bowl favorites, I would tell you that the Super Bowl favorites.
Yep.
I don't hold anything back on this program. I tell you what I think. If I thought that they were the team to beat in the NFL, in the AFC, in the whatever, they are in the AFC West, obviously. They've played their way into that position. But if you want me to say that they're Super Bowl favorites, I'm not going to say that right now, and I don't know when I'll be able to say that.
Oh,
Maybe get me to the postseason, and then we'll decide.
Did Moser eat something on that road trip? Because your tune every week is they're going to blow out the upcoming foe.
Yeah, but no.
Because
we put
Vic,
stakes
they've
on the
played-
table now.
They've played a plethora of suckholes.
Oh, so
Right.
now you get serious. Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I see. So
Yeah.
you wait till December to mature.
Well, I'm not playing with myself, in October,
Okay.
November.
I'm glad
and
you're
then-
not.
Well, I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I'm not playing patty
Nelly.
cake is what I'm talking about.
But here's the difference: is we that conversation we just had, we just put weight on the table. That's what we did. Okay, we put stakes on the table. We said, "Hey, are you cool with the Broncos just being a playoff team, or is this NFL's number one seed a Super Bowl or bust team?" And that's when both you and Vic Moj started to get uneasy. So I think you're both right, by the way. And Bo Nix was also asked about being an underdog, and I think he gave a goated answer.
Oh, a lot of buzz about you guys being underdogs. Do you use that as a battle cry motivation? You tune it out?
I don't really care. My mom thinks we'll win, so that's all that matters.
His mom thinks he's going to win. That's all that matters.
Mom's thoughts are all that matters for anyone.
My mom's dead.
I knew that was coming. Okay, go to break.
It's a Nuggets Ticket Thursday. That keyword for this hour, Dikembe, 303-504-0925. Back with more on Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith in just a minute.
I know it gets dark early this time of year. It's like 4:45, and already the sun's going down. You're like, oh, man, I'm tired. I don't feel right. Is it the time of the year? Is it the weather? Or is it your body, dudes? Are your workouts productive? Are you sleeping well? Feeling foggy? What's the story with you? Well, you might have low testosterone like I did. I found out when I had myself a physical with my regular doctor. And he goes, hey, you're just getting up there a little bit. I said, I'm going to do something about it. And I called the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic because they are experts in treating low T and other men's sexual health conditions. And they've successfully treated many men for low testosterone for years and years and years, tens of thousands right here on the Front Range. Like many guys who are low T, if you take the advice that I'm going to give you and you call them and you get help, it's going to make you feel better. Brain fog is going to go away. Your sleep will improve, your workouts, and much, much more. So do yourself a favor. Give them a call today at 720-440-7900. That's 720-440-7900. Or go online at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Most men wait a year or longer. Don't do that. There's no need to wait. Again, go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith, thanks for being here. Remember, whether you're at home or on the go, we are always available to you at the touch of a button, streaming live on the Altitude Sports Radio app, powered by the Wilhite Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Go to willhitewins.com. That's willhitewins.com. Well, I hope all of you out there are having a better morning than Chiron Moore, the former head coach at Michigan. And I mean former as of yesterday. Oof, what a ridiculous drama coming out of Ann Arbor. The rumors are right now, and we have yet to see real substantiated reporting, but the rumors are right now. Oh, yeah. We're off and rolling here on a Thursday, Moshe. Thanks. You know, I said yesterday at the end of the show I couldn't wait for him to be back in studio. I'm already kind of eating those words.
Good.
The reports are of an extramarital affair, and let me see how I want to put this. With a staffer that they tried to cover up, that allegedly
just read the facts. You don't even have to put it.
Well, we don't have concrete facts yet. That's the problem. If we did, I would really talk about some of those rumors that have been unsubstantiated, but I'm trying to be careful here. So there's rumors of an extramarital affair and a potential pregnancy, and of course he's got a family, and Michigan has known about it for a while. And so the story goes that Michigan's been sitting on this and waiting for signing day for the class to get here so they don't spook everybody. And as soon as it did, the very next day, they fired him for cause to avoid paying the buyout. And apparently he had some bit of a mental episode last night and ended up being detained and taken into custody, I guess, at a mental hospital. So what's happening in Ann Arbor is, I mean, who needs soap operas?
Well, yeah, who needs soap operas? But at the same time, look, as far as he is concerned, I guess I don't know. This whole thing just looks so bad, and it probably is really bad. I'm looking at Michigan football and going, they're in a hell of a pickle right now. Hell of a pickle. It's a plum job. Are we going to set a carousel going again? I guess we probably are. That's where I'm coming from. I don't get into the personal stuff too much, although it looks really, really bad. Really bad.
How didn't they see the signals at Michigan? They're so good at stealing signals.
Nice. Well, here's the other part of this. If you go down the laundry list of the guys that Harbaugh had on staff and the legal problems they've had with over the course of the last couple of years, it's ugly. I don't know what he had going on, but there was no oversight. There was no accountability. It was the Wild West. And now Michigan football is in a really bad position because, Vic, wouldn't you say it's a top 7 job in the country at the worst?
When are people going to learn something about Jim Harbaugh? He doesn't follow rules. He doesn't care about rules. Now, is he an effective coach? Yes. He makes up his own rules. We've heard time and time again, even at the NFL level, practicing when you're not supposed to practice. At the NCAA level, doing things that he does on his own accord, doesn't care. So does this surprise me that Michigan is paying the price for Harbaugh's national championship run? Not one bit.
It's ugly because now you're late in the process, though. The transfer portal opens up at the beginning of January. What do you do now? They put Biff Poggi, which he definitely didn't have any extramarital affairs. They put him as their interim. But now you're late in the game here. Everybody else has found a dance partner. Matt Campbell
sounds
from
like
Iowa
he took
State.
a swipe at old Biff's appearance.
Maybe. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I've seen Biff.
Okay. By the way, this Chiron Moore thing, this has been heavily rumored for weeks, if not months. Okay, this is nothing new in college football circles. It just was revealed today after the portal, after the recruiting commitments, after all that stuff.
You had to know this day was coming. There's nobody responsible for it but him. I mean, he had to know that this day was coming. It's kind of easy for me to see. I mean, I think everybody should be able to see exactly the timeline and what went down. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a guy. I don't know what his salary was, Matt, but it was a lot, I'm sure. If you're the head coach of Michigan, it's got to be $10 million a year.
More
something
than mine.
along those lines. Okay. So that's gone immediately. Your wife finds out about all this, and your 3 children find out about all of this. She freaks. He freaks with her. They, whatever goes down, probably. He then books it over to what's-her-faces and freaks.
Allegedly.
Then allegedly, and then she freaks and blah, 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 blah. 911 calls and all this kind of thing, and he's freaking. I mean, his whole life, it looks like, went down in the span of like an hour and a half.
Up in flames.
His whole life, his whole life just stopped existing in the span of an hour and a half. That would cause a lot of people to freak, I'm guessing. Same time, though, hey, man, you start messing around like that, bad things are going to happen. That's all I got to say. I mean, you can't.
What is in the water?
You got to be smarter than all that kind of thing. I'm sure this has played out a million times in the span of human history, but it's a human tragedy all the way around, especially for the existing family when this is dropped on them and their whole life is gone and everything changes.
I want to move along here to a couple of other NFL notes from yesterday. I don't know if you guys happen to see this, but Russell Wilson sent out a tweet yesterday. And, of course, Russ is fresh off his audition at CBS doing the pregame shows for NFL Sundays. He said yesterday after somebody posted that the version of Russell Wilson from 2017 to 2020 would be the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Russ said, man, I got to get back to balling and being me. Back to my first 10. It's time. Time to go dark.
What is that? That's not what he wanted to cook. Okay, well, listen, he can want to cook all he wants to, and he can want to go back to the first 10 all he wants to.
What's the first 10? First 10 years?
Yeah, first 10 years. He had more career wins than any other quarterback the first 10 years of his career.
Fact of the matter, dude is 37, and he doesn't play like he used to play. He's inactive on Sundays now. You want to go back all you want. I mean, who's gonna give him that opportunity? I don't know. If I had a football team, I would not get that opportunity.
Let it go. That's sad. It's almost sad.
That's exactly what I felt, Vic.
My first reaction wasn't, anger or irritability. It's sadness. It's like, that's a guy that still thinks he can play. I mean, and all you have to do is watch the last 3 seasons. Can't do it anymore, man.
It's delusional, and it is sad. And, different guys have their own challenges with when you remove that competition from their life. And Russ is going to struggle with that. I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's just wired like that. That's all he knows. That's what he's, completely committed himself to, and the bit is over. Father Time knocked at the door a while ago. It was sad. That was why I brought it up. I was like, come on, man. Like, okay. All right, whatever, Russ. I do want to also move along because Phillip Rivers in our other NFL note was introduced yesterday, and we'll take a listen to a little bit of what he had to say to the media coming up a little bit later. But we talked about this. Moj said, hey, look, man, I mean, this might be their best option because where else do you turn? Well, apparently they tried to turn to Broncos backup quarterback Sam Ehlinger. They were on the phone with him, in touch with him, and Ehlinger turned them down to stay here with Davis Webb and Sean Payton to continue his quarterback rehab.
Great.
I mean, what does that say?
Listen, the kid I say the kid. I saw him play in the Alamo Bowl live and in person when he was at Texas, and he was awesome. I thought he'd be an NFL quarterback. I didn't know where he would fall on the spectrum, but I thought probably good, solid backup NFL quarterback. And he's played a total of 8 games, I think, for the Colts in the NFL. I don't know. Maybe he loves the coaching. He's loyal to the Denver Broncos. Good for him. He wasn't going to start over Phillip Rivers, though. I'll tell you that much. From what I understand, they were going to come in as perhaps a pair, and that he would be there with Phil, but Phil's the guy that's going to play football at the age of 44. It's a very difficult situation for Indianapolis.
See, now that makes sense, Vic, because I read it as he just turned him down, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, that is your opportunity. That had to be what it was, right, Vic?
I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Oh, good. Well, we'll get back to that a little bit later.
Talking about
good for you.
Ehlinger turning down the opportunity to go to Indy. He wasn't going to be a starting quarterback there.
Yeah. Well, my immediate reaction to that was the Broncos are taking care of him. And one way the Broncos take care of him, do you notice what they do with their third-string quarterbacks? They have them on the active roster to start the season, and then they put them off the roster after. And what that allows is for them to make more money.
Correct.
Than a practice squatter.
Correct.
So the Broncos take care of their own. This ownership group will make you feel very comfortable both financially and everything else. So I think he sees that and the opportunity to work with Davis Webb, who everybody raves about Davis Webb. But for the life of me, guys, you have an opportunity to go start right away.
He's not going to start. It's going to be Phil Rivers, period.
It had to be, Vic.
It had to be that conversation then.
It
do
had
I
to
get
have
to
that
start?
Conversation.
Otherwise, what other logic is there? Like, is there going to
come start for a team that's going to make it? It's going to try to stay in a playoff run here and and guide us to the playoffs if you can. Or one game behind Jacksonville. Or right there. That scenario, and Houston's right there with you. That scenario to me is a much more delectable scenario than, hey, you're going to be a third stringer here for the Broncos still. I mean, All
right, guys. So Phillip Rivers is back. The Patriots have 11 wins again. The Cowboys are average. Joe Flacco's in the league. He was slinging it. There's drama in Philly. Matthew Stafford is a stud playing at an MVP level. The Seahawks defense is nasty. Aaron Rodgers is the 4 seed. The Browns and Raiders are eliminated. Doesn't it feel like 2015 all over again?
It's been
What does this one mean to you?
years.
Well, what does this one mean to you?
Well, and I'm going to say this, and he would not want me to say this, but this one's for Pat.
Give me those 2015 vibes all over again. It's Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Moser, Lombardi, and Kane, happy Thursday. Thanks for being here. Matt Smith in. If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Brett's at home, settling in baby number 2. Any update from the underground guys?
Talked to him over the road trip for a little bit. He was exhausted at that moment. I'm guessing, you got another little one that probably is rambunctious, and you got a little tiny one that's probably up and down all the time, right? As little tiny babies do. So I can see where the tiredness would come in.
Yeah, I imagine so. So I hope everything's going well, and I'm sure Brett will be back in a couple of weeks, and everybody will be back to normal. Which
I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know. He's probably just going to try to have another one.
Oh, just back to back.
He's got a pretty good thing going. Back to you talk about back to back,
right?
Something like that.
I saw this number. Did you know that the Broncos are just the second team in NFL history to win 5 straight road games by 7 or fewer points? They joined the 2003 Patriots, who went 14-2 and won the Super Bowl. Guys, the Broncos haven't lost a football game since September. We realize that, right, Vic? Like, I think we talk about the 10-game win streak, but when you put it like that, I think it hits a little different.
It's weird.
I think that we're at a space right now where I have no idea what you guys are talking about because you guys started this segment fighting. So what was it again?
We did? Were we fighting?
Off and rolling. One more time.
Oh, okay.
Vic, the Denver Broncos haven't lost a game since September. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
it's
good.
crazy.
Well, I'm glad that we're all on the same page here.
But does it feel? Hold on a second now. Don't get all huffy puffy.
Oh, I'm not.
Does it feel like this is a team?
What's the question?
I mean, hang on. Your record says.
What's the question?
All right.
Oh, we are. Oh, what a good start to the segment. How about Sean Payton on the Packers? I think let's just listen to him breaking down what the Packers pose as they come in here on Sunday.
His deep ball accuracy, his poise in the pocket, he can extend, he can climb, he can run. He doesn't take sacks. I feel like over the last however many years, I've watched him just progress. And so there's a timing and a confidence level. They do a really good job offensively of getting the ball down the field to a talented group of receivers. And they're right near the top, first in third down. I think they're second in red zone. I mean, statistically speaking, both sides of the ball are way up there.
He knows that there's a really good football team coming in here on Sunday, Vic. And look, quite frankly, this is a good test for them. This is a test they haven't had in a minute.
I really enjoyed him talking about how the fans have to make more noise when the play calls are coming in for Green Bay. How he sort of sent a message. I don't know if it was prompted. I don't know if he meant to do it, but I think the message was delivered that, hey, man, you got to be loud when they're trying to get the plays in, get that home field advantage working up real nice because it makes a difference, especially on the road. It makes a big difference.
And look, we just saw this team here, not to cut you off, but we just saw this team here up close and personal for joint practices a couple of years ago, and they have played the Packers in recent history. Sean has played the Packers, quite frankly. So it's not like there's a complete unfamiliarity with this group, Vic. I mean, this is a team that they understand and they know.
Yeah, they do. The Packers are going to pose a problem. The Packers have won 4 in a row. The Broncos have won 10 in a row, correct?
Yep.
This is why this is a measuring stick game. I think it's a great measuring stick game. And believe it or not, I think the Broncos have a hell of a lot more to lose than the Packers. For the Packers, you're on the road against a great defense.
This was Sean talking about those joint practices in which, oh, by the way, as Matt LaFleur pointed out yesterday at his press conference, the Broncos, at least in this observer's opinion, dominated the Packers when they came into town, and Matt LaFleur felt the same way. Sean Payton was asked if he remembers what it was like last year before the season when Green Bay was here in training camp.
Listen, I have a hard time remembering last week, let alone the joint practice. I know we had good work. It feels like it was 5 years ago. We have the film, and we'll look at it. At this point in the season, we got such a volume of tape, with their personnel that we're currently seeing. That's my memory of it.
So you don't remember if you got the better of them, like you said?
I just said that, right?
Okay.
Now, you could say what you want, but I just finished telling you that.
Okay.
Spicy, Sean.
No.
Well, the fact of the matter is this. There's nothing, and I'm going to repeat it, absolutely nothing that you can take from training camp 2 years ago when the Broncos and the Packers went head-to-head. There's nothing you can take, film, feeling, otherwise, that's going to translate over to this football game. I mean, absolutely zero. It all has to do with where you are right now as a team, what the wrinkles are in your offense and defense right now as a team. Zero from 2 years ago. So the fact that the question came up,
right?
It to me it's an irrelevant question. And look, I'm not bagging on anybody, but I could easily predict what Sean Payton's reaction was going to be to that particular question. It's all about where the Packers are now, who they are now. And again, if you go down, and I know you're a numbers guy, and you start to look at these, quote, numbers, they're remarkably similar. Again, they get to where they get to different ways, but in terms of overall defense, overall offense, yards per game on both, they're pretty darn similar. And Vic, you were pointing out, or maybe it was you, Matt, the passing yards of Jordan Love and Bo Nix. The big difference here, Vic, is that Jordan Love has 22 touchdowns and only 4 picks on the season. So I think when you're looking at it, officially, he is playing better.
And he throws the ball downfield more. And he takes more chances.
That's exactly right. He chucks it downfield. But as far as their personnel, they got a better running game to the Packers, but the Broncos have a little bit better defense. And I say running game in the fact that you have Josh Jacobs, who's punched it in 12 times this year. He's got 12 rushing TDs. The Broncos are led by RJ. He's got 5.
See, I think that's what this game will be determined, to be honest with you, Sunday. The Broncos in that Washington game gave up some big runs to those big backs that Washington has. Josh Jacobs can chew up some yards. I think this is going to be decided in the trenches on the run game. I really do. If the Broncos can handle it, they win. If the Broncos get gouged, you might have a different result because it's a gouge one play action the next, Christian Watson touchdown.
And I think that's because, quite frankly, Vic, the Broncos just aren't as far along as an offense yet as the Packers altogether. I think there's less on Jordan Love's shoulders than there is on Bo Nix's shoulders. And that's the key for the Broncos offense to have a deep postseason run. They've got to find a way to take things more and more and more off of Bo's shoulders. And with Josh Jacobs, we all realize that he's 8-0 against the Broncos in his lifetime, right? He's averaging 96 yards per game against the Broncos. He's also added 181 receiving yards on 17 receptions with 9 touchdowns. That's a real factor here.
Yeah, but that's all Raiders work.
Oh, no, I got you.
That's all Raiders work. And I look at that, too. The Broncos couldn't beat the Raiders for the longest time. It was crazy. But he's a Packer now. You know, I'm going to focus. I'm going to be a little bit like the micro focus on this particular week. That's how I'm looking at it. I know his past history. It's like investing. Past history has no bearing on future results.
He's not the only one you have to be worried about. You got to be worried about Micah Parsons, too. How worried is Sean Payton?
2 NFC teams make a trade, and I mean, it's news, but...
What?
2 NFC teams make a trade, and I mean, it's news, but...
Whatever.
I mean,
Whatever. He ain't worried about Micah Parsons.
But he's one of the best defensive players in the game.
2 NFC teams make a trade, and I mean, it's news, but...
Yeah, I do wonder how they're going to handle Micah. And it's one thing that's not lost on me is the season that Garrett Bowles is having. I believe last week was the first game he's given up a sack all year. You know, I think he's on a Pro Bowl mark, to be honest with you, the way he's playing. Have you seen a career take a turn like Garrett Bowles? Remember, was it long ago, holding 72 was a popular refrain here in town?
Absolutely. And, I mean, if you think back, really, things changed for him in a real way. Wasn't it right around COVID, Vic?
Holding offense, number 72.
Because heading into that, we were all wondering if they were going to go a different direction at left tackle.
Yeah, we did wonder about that. That's a good point.
In his defense, he also had different coaches, different coordinators, different everything year after year, different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, listen, Garrett Bowles was a high pick for a reason. I mean, the guy has talent, and the fact that he put it together and the fact that he actually sucked it up and said, I want to be a better player. I'm sure he was embarrassed by what Nelly just played. I would be too when your number is called all the time and you're trying to figure out how to, sink or swim in the National Football League. I give him full credit in the world, man. He sucked it up, he put in the work, and he's a much better player now.
All right, we've established they're a good offense. We've established they've got weapons defensively. but they're more disciplined than Denver. And when it comes down to it, when you're playing good teams in December in the postseason, that's an area that can absolutely get you beat. And the Broncos draw a lot of penalties. In fact, second worst in the league. A lot of those are self-inflicted mistakes. The Packers, just 12th. And as far as it relates to their offensive efficiency, Sean is well aware that putting yourself behind the sticks is not a recipe for success for this offense or any, quite frankly.
It helps when it comes to third down. You're in a much more manageable position. The minute you get a holding call, if you looked at the statistics of converting on that drive, you really paint yourself in a bit of a corner. Obviously, that's the number one thing that comes to mind.
And so, Vic, to your point, if this game is won in the trenches, if this game comes down to who can run the football more effectively, it's going to be really important to stay out of third and long, to give yourself those third and manageables, to make it easier on Bo with some of that quick game, because that's what they put into the offense against Vegas. We'll see if the game plan's the same this week. But Bo Nix, 31 for 38. Yeah, he didn't have a whole bunch of yards, but he was efficient.
If you can execute that game plan against Green Bay, we got yourself another W. You got 11 straight wins.
I think so, too.
I think that's exactly what they want every week.
I think so, too. And we talk about how the Broncos' offensive line has been so good at keeping Bo upright. Well, the Packers haven't been much worse. Only fourth in sacks allowed at 18. Denver's allowed 17. So you're going to have to find ways to make Jordan Love uncomfortable. I think that's a huge storyline in this game. Guys, let me ask you this. Moshe, what's the strength of this Broncos team? Which unit?
Well, the defensive unit is by far the strength.
Position room. Let's break it down a little further.
Position room, I would say that it's probably the defensive line.
I'd say it's the edge.
Okay,
group,
I mean,
altogether.
but I think that whole line. Okay, the edge crew is fine, and you're sprinkling in quote linebackers, but these guys get to the quarterback. I just think we'll call it then. Let's call it the front seven.
Hey,
because look, I also think that they rotate guys in so well. When you're talking about the big uglies plugging up the middle of that line, allowing the edge guys to go and do what they do,
sure.
I think it all goes together like a machine. That's the way I look at it anyway.
You're not wrong.
This is my final say on this game, because frankly, I'm almost tired talking about Broncos-Packers because we've cut it up and down. Here's the deal. I'll make it very easy for you. I'm looking at the Packers' schedule. They've beaten a lot of teams. Okay. Two teams with comparable defenses to the Broncos. And when I say comparable, they're not as good as the Broncos defense, but they can do things to make it tough. Cleveland is one crappy team on one end. Their defense is strong, right? Green Bay lost to Cleveland. The other defense they've faced this year that's okay is Philadelphia. Green Bay lost to Philadelphia. The two best defenses they've faced, the two tough defenses they've faced, they scored a total of 7 points in one game and 10 in the other. Prove it against a good defense.
I like that. Well said. Very, very well said. By the way, on our Twitch stream, Safeway Twitch stream, somebody said, what is Bo Nix going to say? This one's for Walmart?
What does this one mean to you?
Well, and I'm going to say this, and he would not want me to say this, but this one's for Pat.
We'll dive into David Adelman, who spoke to the media yesterday as the Nuggets, fresh off a break, are back in action tonight against the Kings. It's a very testy Thursday here on Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith. And it is also another Nuggets Ticket Thursday. And your keyword for this hour is Carmelo. Text Carmelo with your first and last name to 303-504-0925, and you could win tickets to see Kevin Durant and the Rockets against the Nuggets on Monday. Also today only, you can win an Aaron Gordon bobblehead, so you're not going to want to miss it. Text Carmelo to 303-504-0925 with your full name, and you are entered to win. Good luck, winner at 9:55. Vic, Nuggets back in town briefly for a little bit of a respite from a 3-game East Coast roadie, and now heading back out to Sacramento. Again, but before we get there, I was told in my ear during the break that there was a conversation you had with your spouse that needed to be shared.
I need to ask you guys if this is Moser with your new spouse. I need to ask this question.
Well, how new is new? It's been 5 years.
That's new in my book.
Okay.
Like in my family, she's so into wrapping Christmas gifts, right? And she's got all these. I mean, the Amazon packages are. It's a garage full of Amazon boxes. It's a joke. I go, what is going on? What is happening here? Oh, it's the kids' Christmas gifts. My kids are adults. They're in their 20s. Yeah, but gotta get stocking stuffers. Again, my son is 27. My beautiful baby boy. He's 27. What are we doing, right? So we're doing all these stocking stuffers. And she goes, and I got you some stuff too, but she knows better. Do you want this? And she showed it to me. I don't want any of that. But she's so mad because I have to unwrap gifts. She needs me to be a part. I don't like unwrapping gifts. I like watching everybody else do it. I'm not into that. I'm not a Grinch. People call me a Grinch. It's not the point. Unwrapping. So I gave her, she goes, give me something you can unwrap. I gave her an Old Spice underarm deodorant, and I gave her some razors. I said, here you go. Here's the gifts. Do you guys like unwrapping gifts that you know you get?
Wait. What do you mean you know
the question here is, do we like unwrapping, the process of unwrapping gifts?
Oh, you know what they are already.
No, don't wrap it up.
Why would you know what they are unless...
Because she wants me to be a part of the unwrapping ceremony. Okay, well, that crap.
See, Terry, why can't I just be the supervisor?
That's what I told her.
On the corner of the couch.
That's all I want to do.
I'll have a glass of red wine, and I'll watch the festivities unfold.
I get more pleasure out of that. I want to be in charge of having the hefty bag and throwing all the gift wrap stuff in the hefty bag. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'll take one of the bows off one of the presents, off the wrapping. I'll try to throw it across the room and ding it off the dog's butt. You know, that kind of thing, right?
That's all I want to do.
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. No. Hey, listen, they're
freaking out.
Does she want Hallmark? Is that what she wants?
Clearly.
I don't know.
Oh, Steve and Susan were just friends, and she had a big project that he helped her on, and they fell in love or whatever. Is that what are we looking at here?
I don't know.
It's been 20.
Unwrapping is fun. Years. Chill out, Vic. Do it for other people's enjoyment. They're having their own enjoyment. Again, I've got adult kids that we purchased a garage full of gifts for. They should enjoy.
The only thing is that hold on a second. You are a bit Scroogey. The only thing is that if it has to be, you don't know what it is, because that's where the enjoyment comes from. You know, you see the eyes light up and that sort of thing. I mean, just look, they're always going to be her kids, man. You have no choice.
Fine. But
you're going to be Moj, in a walker, and then she's going to be doing that.
Moj, at what age do you stop with the stocking stuffers? At what age? When does that end?
But Vic, you got to understand the mentality. I think that that's still her babies, right? I think that's what it is, bro. If I was you, I'd just go with it. Go with the flow, homie.
I'm my mommy's baby. She just gives me cash money.
Can you even imagine going to Bambina's house and there's a stocking says Vittorio on it?
Cash money, baby.
All right. Well, I think we have the answer then. The answer has been laid out. And by the way, if you ask me for my advice, then take my advice.
All right.
Don't just blow me off and go, no, you're an idiot. You asked, so there's a reason you asked.
Pay him.
That's right.
Are you going to be able to survive? Are you going to cut it, Vic? You think you can handle it?
I got it.
Okay.
All right, good.
We're both very glad.
I saw the Spurs beat the Lakers last night pretty handily. That same Spurs team where we, rightfully so, I complained when they came in here and beat the Nuggets. I wasn't happy. Dude, they're doing this without Wemby. Yeah. They're blowing out the Lakers They're blowing out the teams without Wemby. They came back from 18 down to beat the Nuggets. Wemby should return later this week. It sets up an NBA Cup semifinals, OKC against San Antonio in Vegas. Man, is San Antonio really good? What is going on here?
I think they are. Look at the team that they've assembled. I think they've got a very good group of guys who know how to play their role. And I wasn't sure what to expect from them when Pop had to step aside, but it's gone better than I think anybody would have ever expected, especially with the amount of time that Wemby has had to miss, at different points. So you look at Stephon Castle, you look at Dylan Harper, Vassell, Fox. Those are 4 legit guards right there, Vic. The Western Conference is loaded, man. And eventually, when they get that Godzilla back in the lineup, they should be even better, I would think.
You know what I've noticed about some of these teams, like what makes OKC so damn good, and the Spurs too, they've got multiple people who can go one-on-one and beat you. And I mean go hard to the hole and beat you. Multiple guards who can do that. And they play side to side. They play up and down. They can play any way you want. San Antonio, in the last year alone, they went from, that's an interesting team to, that's a really good team. Watch out.
I look at the Eastern Conference. You talk about everybody except the 10, 11, okay, the winning records. The bottom of the West is crap. The Sacramento Kings have 6 wins on this season. I don't even want to talk about what they've done against the Nuggets. It hurts my soul. But when you're talking about the high-endness of the West, it's high. You talk about the high-endness of the East, it's low. Man, the East stinks. You got a bunch of thumb twiddlers over there, man. Look, the Knicks ain't anybody's All-Americans. They ain't winning jack. Boston ain't winning jack this year. That's a crap conference. I'm just going to say it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. The top 5 teams and maybe top 6 teams in the West would win the East. Mm-hmm. I'm saying it right now. I'm saying it.
So Denver is playing Sacramento tonight, and David Adelman spoke at practice yesterday, and it's been a topic on every Nuggets fan's mind. They've won 10 out of their last 14 games, and none of those wins have been at home. But I guess at least tonight they're going back on the road, right, Coach?
I don't know, man. I feel like I've said we reset every time we come home and then we lose. So, I don't know. I'm just glad we're home, in our back where we have our stuff, and you get to kind of chill for a second. Nice to have practice in here, have practice tomorrow, and then we head to Sacramento. But, but I think it's a mental reset. We've kind of been in this zone of hotel rooms and playing in random cities and then getting on the plane. But there is a rhythm to that, too. You kind of find this rhythm to the locker rooms and being together. It sounds crazy, but the way we travel, your nap schedule and all the things you do when you eat, you get this rhythm where at home it's very different. You kind of control your own time here as opposed to on the road where it's all kind of dictated to you. For whatever reason, we've been here, it hasn't gone great. So we have to find a better rhythm to that. But, yeah, it's nice to come home and reset things personally more so than professionally.
He is so right. And let me tell them issue is an issue. I guess my retort would be, fix it. And when I say fix it, I'm speaking to the players because they're the ones that get out of rhythm. Here's what happens on the road. You're in your hotel room. You're chilling. You have a meal at a certain time. You go down, meal, and then there's video after the meal. They usually go through a scouting report. And then if there's an opportunity to do a shoot-around that day, you go to shoot-around on a bus. If not, you chill out. You wait for the team buses, go to the arena. That's game day. It's very disciplined. It's right in front of you. But when you're at home, you can go run errands. You can do different things. You don't have a team meal. You eat on your own.
Take the dog to the vet.
Yeah, you're completely out of your rhythm. And when you do that in consecutive weeks, you get a rhythm again. But the fact that the Nuggets in this schedule, as crazy as it's been, they've had one home game, then 2 road games. Mm-hmm. One home game, then a road game. One home game. It's not a rhythmic schedule, and it's clearly taking them out of that rhythm. Do you know the last time the Denver Nuggets won a home game? We sit here.
The last home game was
just guess.
I think it was
December
Indiana.
11th.
It was Indiana. Right?
Indiana on November 8th.
That's crazy.
More than 1 month since the Denver Nuggets have won a home game. That's how crazy the schedule has been.
Let me tell you what isn't rhythm. Since I know about rhythm and non-rhythm. Giving up 130, 128, 139, and 131. That ain't about rhythm. It's about want to. It's about commitment. It's about defense. Okay? So we can talk
At
rhythm.
some point, it's got to be about pride.
Yeah, we can talk rhythm all we want to. You got the number one scoring team in the NBA in the Denver Nuggets. They are tops at over 125 per. As far as I'm concerned, if you play a lick of defense, especially on the perimeter, you should never lose another game again. I mean, if you got the number one scoring offense, play defense. And I realize you got two defenders who are good, who are out of the lineup. I dig that. And guys get lost, and I understand the young guys, they don't understand their part in the rotation. We'll work on it. In fact, if anything, don't even shoot the ball. Have a practice say, nobody's going to shoot a basketball this entire practice. We're going to spend an hour and a half just rotating it correctly.
Quick read here. Heather on the text line. Vic is a mom to adult children. We also have Amazon, QVC, and other box littering in the garage. My husband is very frustrated with me. But that said, I asked for no gifts. For me, I enjoy giving, not receiving. I'm making the same point you're making, Heather. I don't like opening gifts that I will never use. I enjoy being the guy with the hefty bag, taking care of all the Christmas wrapping. That's what I enjoy doing. Unless it's my mother giving me cash money.
We welcome our buddy, three-time Pro Bowler and former Buff Chad Brown to the show. Good morning, Chad. Happy Thursday, man.
Happy Thursday. Good morning, fellas.
I guess we have to start where Vic has started us off in this second hour. Why don't you ask him if he's a fan of unwrapping Christmas gifts?
Well, it's just not about gifts. It's like my wife will say, "What do you want?" And I'll say, well, "What do you mean? What do I want? This and that." She got me some hats. That she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna wrap them." I go, "Well, I already saw them. You don't need to wrap them. Oh, you got to unwrap them for the kids." I go, "What do you mean I got to unwrap them for the kids? Just give them to me." I don't understand. I mean, they can unwrap stuff. I don't need to unwrap stuff. Are you an unwrapper?
I am not an unwrapper. So what we do typically is we save all the fancy bags that the store gives you over the years. And you take a little ribbon and tie the handles at the top of the bag and stuff a little tissue paper on top so you can't peek unless now, no one in my house is a child, so no one should be peeking. But that's what we do. And then after Christmas is over, I take those same bags, I fold them up, I put them into the Christmas wrapping box, and they stay there until next year when they come back out for the exact same procedure. And this is what we do every year. So that way we don't have a trash can full of torn up wrapping paper. We just reuse those same bags.
Chad, I got to ask you.
But hold on one second. Okay. I've got to chime in on this. My wife gave me a task last week of I had to wrap a couple things. There's something about the perfect wrap, though, when you get it right.
I don't know how to wrap. You know how to wrap?
See, that's the problem. Well, what kind of wrap? No, but when you get the folds and the triangles right on the side, you need one piece of tape to secure the whole damn thing. That's pretty satisfying, bro. It's like that first scoop of peanut butter out of the jar. That's what the feeling, the sensation is like for me, man.
I'm with you. I 100% agree on the perfect wrap. When my kids were younger, it was a competition between me and my wife with who could use the least tape to accomplish the wrapping job. So I understand where your pleasure is coming from. I've just moved on to a new space of pleasure. The fact that I don't have a trash can full of paper to throw away, that's what brings me joy.
Transferred pleasure. I got it. Let's talk some football. Go ahead, Matt.
Chad, I wondered, because I remember talking to you, and was it at 50 you stopped doing the birthday dunk?
Yes, at 50 years old. I wish, well, actually, I don't wish. I think it was wise for me to stop. I think I probably still could have pushed it past 50, but that was my last year doing it. I think it was Vic's side text to me that said, it looked like you almost tore your ACL. It made me think, you know what? This would suck as a birthday present to myself to pop an Achilles or tear an ACL on my birthday dunks. It was all due to you, Vic. Thank you.
Well, no problem. You did it until you were 50. So what are you now, 73, 74? Where are you at now? What are you pushing?
55, my friend.
Okay.
55.
So when you were doing it, though, and it was impressive, it was much better than Mad Dog Russo trying to throw a basketball. Did you feel any sense like, ooh, that was close, my muscle was about to pop there? Did you feel any of that?
The last 2 years, I had to go down in the basement and warm up on the treadmill. Okay. I mean, it was a 30-minute procedure to get that done.
How in the hell is a 44-year-old who hasn't played football in 4 years is going to be chased by wild linebackers? How is he going to hold up without popping a muscle?
Okay. While I think this is a fun story and there's a certain Disney-esque aspect to it, the reality is going to be the reality. People who come off their couch can't play NFL football. People come off their couch after years of inactivity certainly can't play NFL football. In year 15, when I was released a couple times by the Patriots, I had a similar experience that Phillip Rivers had, where I watched the game, I saw the injury, I turned to my wife and said, you know what? The Patriots are going to call me 5 minutes after this game is over. But I was home for 3 weeks. I wasn't home for 4 years. So I was able to go back and play decent level NFL football for a 38-year-old man. Now we're talking about a 44-year-old dude who hasn't played in years. And let's face it, his last years left something to be desired from a movement standpoint. So the thought that somehow this is going to end up well or with a Disney type of ending, yeah, great story, does not fit with reality.
Did you see how big his face was, Chad, yesterday at that press conference? He had Moser face. He had the big face.
I did see, he did say he was a bit overweight. So, yeah, again, I just not, this is a bit of football malpractice. Again, it's a great story. It brings the Colts back into the headline despite losing 3 of their last 4. But it does not end well for Phillip Rivers. It does not end well for Riley Lincoln if he gets a start. They're going up to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks defense, which is probably the second best or third best defense in the league.
I know.
Come on.
Chad,
Come on.
He's probably going to get beat the heck up and decide that, it's probably a bad idea. But I'm thinking, what other choice do they have? They got nothing else. Hey, I want to ask you about another quarterback. And you were around this league for so long. When you hear things from guys and in the context they say, you've got to know, they're thinking this or he's thinking that. Did you see the Joe Burrow comments? He said, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing this. I've been through a lot. It's been a lot. It's not fun. And what am I doing it for? It's a mindset I'm trying to bring to the table. A lot of things going on right now, a lot of things. So he's either done with the Bengals or he's done with football. Is this an Andrew Luck Part 2 situation? How do you view all of that?
When I heard those comments, I immediately thought of Andrew Luck, but I also thought that there is a generational thing. And if I put this on you and it's not accurate, well, you can push back. But for myself, you and Vic, we're all of similar age. We didn't ask a lot of whys, whether it was to ourselves or to our coaches. There's a generational thing where these kids now today want to know why. What's my why? Why would I want to do this? For Joe Burrow, who's clearly a good-looking dude, who kills it with the press conference outfits, who I'm sure can have his choice of relationships that he chooses to have, who's got tons of money in the bank, he could walk away and be quite happy and satisfied with his life. So why am I doing this? As opposed to our generation, you're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. You do this because you're great at it. And the why doesn't come into the equation at all. So I'm hoping for the NFL that this is a generational conversation that we just don't get, as opposed to here's one of the best young quarterbacks in the game who's had a string of injuries and now may walk away like Andrew Luck, and we all have to wonder, what could have been with this guy.
Chad, Sunday's game, I think, is a measuring stick game for the Broncos, but the more I examine it, maybe I'm painting too deep a picture about the Packers have lost to 2 teams with good defenses. Every other team they've played on their schedule with fair to middling defenses, they've beaten. Most of them. But Cleveland and Philly, they lost to, and their offense went nowhere. Why do I think I'll see more of the same this Sunday?
Well, I think you're wrong. I think they're beginning to round into form. Christian Watson's becoming a deep threat. This is a time of year where a big running back, powerful running back like Josh Jacobs can take over and control a football game. So this is a real, true test for the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs game was a test. The Cowboys game was a test, probably shouldn't have been. But this is maybe their first test from a toughness of an opponent.
Every game's been a test, Chad. Every Broncos game has been a test.
They've allowed it to be a test, but this is probably the biggest test maybe since the Eagles in early October.
See, Brown, you're so smart. You're so smart. That's what I mean. Vic, he's so smart. Listen to this man, please.
I appreciate it when I agree with you, Moser, that you think I'm smart. But since the Eagles game, this is probably the biggest test. The Chiefs, while it's a test, it's a division foe, and there's a certain difference to that. But this is an unfamiliar opponent with unfamiliar players, with an unfamiliar style of play. And the team is beginning to round itself into shape. So I believe this is going to be a really, really good game. I'm on the call for Compass Media on this one, really looking forward to it.
Are you really?
I think this is going to be in Ohio State. That was a game. I don't think this one will be as low scoring as that one, but I think it will be as good of a game with as much tension and back and forth as that Ohio State-Indiana game was.
All righty. Well, we appreciate the time this morning, Chad. Thanks so much, buddy. Look forward to catching up next week and following along as the college football playoff gets rolling here in the next couple of weeks.
You don't need me to tell you. You're smart. You don't need me to tell you.
Yeah.
Just because you agree
I appreciate
with me,
that,
you're smart.
Moj.
You bet.
Yeah. And I bet you could still dunk if you really
I probably
wanted to.
could.
All right. Well, that is Chad Brown. This is Moser, Lombardi, and Kane. On the other side, Moj and Vic give you their reactions to the top stories of the day. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith. Thanks so much for being here on a December Thursday. What's that, Mo?
I just saw what Nelly sent us during the break. That's just funny. Never mind. Sorry.
It was funny.
It's caught me by surprise.
There's definitely a lot of good content out there amidst a very ugly situation right now in Ann Arbor. But
yeah,
I'm
glad that there's the content went from Notre Dame to Ann Arbor.
just deflecting the eye of Sauron there. Yeah, I get that. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories around the sports world. So, Nelly, let's chop it up. All right, first up, Mose, you brought this up to Chad. Joe Burrow yesterday. Oh, boy. You think the years of not drafting any offensive linemen and letting this guy get hit time and time and time again are wearing on him? You tell me.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. You know, I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above. Like you said, there's nothing. All we can do is focus week to week and try to win games. I don't think anybody's really thinking about the playoffs right now. That's within reach, but on our fingertips. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and try to get better.
Vic, crazy question. Could we be looking at Andrew Luck 2.0?
No, I think Joe Burrow just is stuck in a situation where he plays for a franchise that, it's Cincinnati, okay? It's the Bengals, and he's feeling it right now. Would you rather play for the Bengals in that group or the Broncos? Who gives you the better support staff?
I dig what you're saying. He's also one that advocated for his wideouts to get big deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, you know what? That's why players should never be GMs.
There's only so much to go around, man, and you got to spread that bread around. Look, I admire him for coming back from this latest injury and playing, and that's coming off. They blew that game last week too to Buffalo. They blew it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's probably a little bit bummed about that. We know the personal stuff that was reported, that kind of stinks. So whatever.
It's ironic to watch just the parallel paths that the Broncos and the Patriots are. We listened to audio earlier from Sean and Bo yesterday out at Broncos practice talking about, what do you think about being underdogs? Well, guess what? New England, also an underdog this week, at home to Buffalo. They're asking Mike Vrabel the same stuff.
The people in Las Vegas have you guys as underdogs Sunday night.
Who are the people, then?
I guess the odds makers.
There you go.
The odds
they are. They're called odds makers. There's a lot of people in Las Vegas.
So, do you pay attention to that? I mean, do you notice that?
No. I mean, again, it gets brought to attention. I don't think that, it's every week you see in this league that records really don't mean anything. And, the point spreads and survivor pools get blown up every week and all that other stuff. So we're just trying to focus on our preparation here and get back into it.
All right, guys, you've got to finish even or better with the Patriots to get the number 1 seed. Who ends up with it, Vic?
I think the Patriots have the easier road home, and I think they'll probably end up with one more win, which isn't the end of the world.
I guess they do have the easier road home. Even if they lose to Buffalo, they'll probably win their final 3 games, right, inside the division. Well, 1 outside the division, 2 inside the division. So you're saying the Broncos have to lose 2 then? Broncos going to lose 2 of the next 4.
Well, you got to
finish to be the number 1.
You got to finish even or better.
That's what I'm saying. The Bengals, the Bengals, criminy. The Patriots have to finish a game better, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, Moj,
yeah.
You notice the hat Louis wearing? Welcome to the WB.
Yeah, you weren't here the day we did that, but we went back in time. It's kind of a silly hat, but nonetheless, we like to sing the song, so you're welcome. Welcome to the WB.
There's a future NFL Hall of Famer who is very used to taking a lot of damage himself, who says what Phillip Rivers is doing is just flat out reckless.
That has to be AI. The guy hasn't played football in years. He's 44 years old. I think it's absurd that he's coming back. I just don't see it happening. When you're out of the game for that long, at that age, you got to be able to be with it every single day to understand what's going on. Yes, I know he's played for so long, he can get right back into it. But still, to have the arm strength, just the knowledge, just the speed, just your brain, just chemistry, just going with the flow of the game, of how fast it's moving, I just don't really see it happening.
All right, Vic, I know we all want to see a good story. I know Moj told us the other day that this is a good option for the Colts.
They have no other option.
God bless it. What are the realistic expectations? Because I'm sitting up there watching Phillip Rivers at his presser yesterday thinking to myself, is this an episode of Impractical Jokers? Like, is this guy getting pranked? He's going to get killed.
Yeah, I totally agree with Gronk, and that was Gronk, correct?
Correct.
But I don't know about you guys. It's hard to take Gronk seriously when it sounds like a drunk butcher who's just ready to go pound on frozen cow corpses with Rocky Balboa. That's how he comes off. I agree with him 100%.
Moj, I know you're the one who was sticking up for the old guy. I mean, what does Phillip Rivers have to do for this to be considered successful? Not die?
I don't know that they had any other choice other than to say, hey, Sam Ehlinger, we're going to sign you and make you our starter off the Broncos practice squad. What other choice do they have? What other guy are they going to go get off the street? There's nothing else they can do.
Well, there's other quarterbacks. Hey, Ben, what's his name? DiNucci? He's out there?
He's out there slinging it, playing flag football.
Flag football.
DiNucci, who's I guess Tommy Cutlets is out there if you want to get you a Tommy Cutlets. Hey, look, man, he knows Steichen's offense. He's known it for years. They talk all the time anyway. He's going to get killed to death. I'm sure
watching
he will.
that game.
That being said, if he comes out and he actually plays decent, I don't think they're going to win that game. I think Seattle's really damn good. But if he plays decent, it's going to blow your entire narrative out of the water.
Moj, he's the same age. Remember I told you that story? When my dad was 44 years old.
Oh, you thought he was going to die.
He went to the hospital with kidney stones, and I remember looking over to my brother. We were in the hospital, and I said, he's about that age. Just prepare. He's 44.
Wow. Oh, boy. Well, we've been talking a lot about the debacle going on in Milan with the sheet of Olympic ice because Vic's cousin didn't know how to use a measuring tape. Well, the Tkachuk brothers say they're not scared. I don't care. Pond hockey, ocean hockey, just give us a sheet of ice.
Even if it's not safe, I still want to play. I don't give a shit. I'm going over there. I want to compete. We're going there no matter what. I would play on the Atlantic Ocean. I'll play on the lake. It doesn't matter. We could be playing in a park for all I care. It doesn't matter. I think there's going to be more action. And I really don't think it's a big difference as people think. I think it's blown out of proportion.
By the way, when Nathan McKinnon was asked about it, he said, and I quote, "Who cares?"
Yeah. I mean, blown out of proportion is an accurate way to put it. The rink's not 200 feet.
Wow.
But they're not talking about the length of the rink. It will be hardly noticeable, if at all. What they're talking about is the condition of the ice and the threat that the ice is going to be crap. Teams don't want to let their players go if there's a chance they could get injured just because the ice is crap. And these guys are like, I don't give a rat's rip. That's how bad these guys want to represent their country and play in the Olympics.
Hey, I watched that game at MSG this weekend that you guys were there in Manhattan. Talk about bad ice. How much worse could it be than that?
Dude, well, it could be worse. I mean, hey.
Amalie Arena?
Why don't we let the Italian hockey team try it out first and see how it goes and see if those guys don't.
It's just 3 feet.
We're not talking about the length, Dillhole. We're talking about the quality of the ice.
Yeah, how good the sheet is.
Really? Really? The Avs won a Stanley Cup on that ice in Tampa, and I remember they had to shut the doors.
Right.
So don't give me bad ice crap, because there's bad ice here in the United States. Just go play hockey.
Hey, let me ask you, Moj, do you think the Italian hockey team uses baguettes as sticks?
No, they probably use uncooked pasta. Bundled together.
It's brittle though.
But yeah, bundled. Yeah, well,
probably no slap shots.
You bundle it together, you probably get yourself a little bit more.
Come on, 3 feet of a hockey rink. The Tkachuk brothers, they're my heroes. Just go play the game. I mean, 3 feet doesn't make a difference.
Football, basketball, and hockey all in one night? Sounds like you need to go to Stoney's on Lincoln to watch it all. Tyler Polumbus will be there starting at 6 p.m. where you can enter to win a Steve Atwater autographed helmet and other great prizes. It'll be a great time, and it's all brought to you by the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey, Tullamore Dew. See you at number 38 tonight in Rhino.
I'm trying to look at guys who are Italian that played in the National Hockey League, and I'm sure there probably
Mike
are
Ricci, dude.
Sven
plays
Andrighetto.
He's not from Italy, you dork.
Yeah, but he's got a big nose.
Hey, Matt Zuccarello. His dad's Sicilian.
No, he's Swiss.
He's Swiss.
He's
Get
actually,
your stuff. I almost cursed.
Yeah, but he's born in Switzerland.
Actually, he is an Oslo native. You got to give us Norwegians the few hockey players we
Oh,
have.
is he Norwegian? Oh, he is Norwegian. You're right.
But Zuccarello, his dad's Sicilian. Forget about it.
Hey, man, I'm looking over here. Lorenzo Cassetti.
Who?
Enrico Miglorianzi.
Who?
Jason Seed. It's like
All right.
he had a great aunt who was Italian.
outside,
he gets to
nerd.
play.
We'll see if our guest Jeff Legwald can name any members of the Italian national ice hockey
Unbelievable.
team, and we'll do that next.
Oh, a lot of buzz about you guys being underdogs. Do you use that as a battle cry motivation? You tune it out?
I don't really care. My mom thinks we'll win, so that's all that matters.
Joining us on the Ramos Law Hotline, car accident, you need Ramos Law, medical doctor and attorney, ramoslaw.com. It is ESPN's Jeff Legwald. Good morning, Jeff. Happy Thursday.
How are you guys doing?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there, getting ready for another really big game this weekend with the Broncos. But, Jeff, this is we're about to enter a really important stretch that should tell us a lot about this football team, aren't we?
Well, I mean, their chances of making the playoffs are really good no matter what happens. But this is all about the number one seed and, you know, all the home games you want for the playoffs. And as we've known in the past here, that's a big deal. And I think they definitely have their toughest stretch of games that are the most important. And maybe that's the way it should be if you're really going to find out about what this team is. I mean, you got 3 9-win teams waiting for them. You got 4 former first-round picks at quarterback waiting for them. And, you know, one of the best defensive players in the league coming to town, you know, Sunday. So, they've sort of shown the profile of a team that gets it done all year, but this is a stretch of 4 games where they can really assert themselves as the real number one seed.
Jeffrey, a couple personnel moves this week. Looks like Ben Powers is good to go, return to practice. I think Alex Balcheski's done a wonderful job the last few weeks. What do you make that transition now? What happens? Does he get his job back?
Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see. We haven't seen a test for Sean Payton about the whole you don't lose your job through injury thing. You know, Mike Shanahan used to make no bones about it. He used to say if the guy who replaced you plays better, he stays no matter what. So, but we don't know how Sean will treat this. I don't know how close Ben is right now. Yesterday, he was not fully involved in practice. It was limited, and it was sort of a very limited thing. So I'll see what it looks like today. But I think they would put him back in the lineup at some point. But again, I got to see his participation go up a little bit before I think it'll be, I don't think it'll be this week unless they shock me, today and tomorrow.
Also, there are reports out there that Pat Bryant's got a hammy. What do you know about Pat Bryant's availability?
Well, he had it last week, and he ended up playing in the game, so I don't think that helped him any. So he was limited 2 days last week. I think he did it in practice on Thursday last week. So I think he aggravated a little bit in the game. He was not on the field at all yesterday. So we'll have to see what today looks like.
Hey, Jeff, it reminded me of that old adage, versus involved or committed. You know that old adage? When it comes to breakfast, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed.
Yeah. Mike Leach said that.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Did Mike Leach say that?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's an old great line. So we'll see how involved Powers will be coming up on Sunday. I look around here and I say to myself, is this why you bag those wins? That's why you eke it out against the Jets and you come back against the Giants and whatnot, because when you look at the 2 easiest schedules, the Patriots have the easiest one up to this point. The Broncos have the second, quote, easiest one up to this point. But you bag these wins because these last 4 can be a pain in the tail a little bit?
Well, yeah, and I know we all roll our eyes when coaches and everybody say in September they're all big and everything. Well, the Broncos have the number 1 seed right now because the Patriots lost their opener to the Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, you get all the wins you can. It's like insurance, you want it when you need it. And they will need all of these wins if they're really going to be the number 1 seed. I mean, I think their percentages of making the playoffs are way up over 98 right now. So you're going to be in the playoff field. Now it's about how serious are you about that playoff field? Because I think the Broncos would much rather play anybody here than go on the road against some of these teams.
Jeff, we started the show by asking the boys what their expectations were, since Vic before the year just said, hey, get in the playoffs, 10 wins or so. That sounds good for year 2 for Bo Nix. Moj was at 11-6. I was a little bit more bullish at 13-4. But right now, here we sit with the Broncos sitting atop the league. What are the expectations? Is it Super Bowl or bust?
I would never say that for a team, because I just, and I know that's sort of boring and pragmatic, but I've been doing this a long time, and winning the Super Bowl is absolutely one of the hardest things in team sports to do. And because it's so based in the NFL on who got hurt, one 4-down section of a game can change your whole season if the right two guys get hurt on those plays. So, but I think when you have the number 1 seed with a month to go, I think that's the expectation. You finish that out and you give yourself the best chance at a Super Bowl or bust situation.
So let me get this straight. The Colts are looking for an emergency quarterback. They call Sam Ehlinger, who actually played there, and he said no. And he said no, according to Sam, because he's comfortable here and enjoys his situation here. He's third string here. How do you give up starting opportunity for third string?
Well, it tells me the Colts didn't, I didn't. Parker Gabriel talked to Sam, the Denver Post.
Yep, read that.
Parker's great he's a good young guy in this business. But so I did not personally talk to Sam in the locker room yesterday. But I do know that tells me that the Colts weren't definitive about what they were offering.
Or committed.
If it's just a roster spot, then of course, or not of course, but I think he would be apt to stay here because he sees what Zach Wilson got paid. Mm-hmm. This is a good spot. People want to be here. And, I think it tells me more about how the Colts framed it to him, like come in and you'll have a chance or something. But it tells me they didn't definitively say you're going to start our last 4 games, or, they could have said if Riley Leonard's healthy or, whatever it was, but he obviously felt better about what was here. I have talked to him this year about that, and he has said it would take an awful lot for him to go elsewhere.
But it would seem to me if you want to play, you're going to have a good chance after
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It tells me the Colts weren't. If they said you're going to start Sunday, I have a hard time believing he stays here.
Agreed. The likelihood of getting playing time though after the first series in Seattle is probably pretty good. That's what I'm saying. I think that poor Phil, Phil could get smoked, and then 44 years old, they're going to drag him off with a winch on his face mask, and then whoever is healthy behind him is going to be able to play some football. I mean, that's being facetious, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think maybe because he was there, maybe he didn't like his. I can't speak for him, but it tells me that the team he spent a lot of time with called, and he said no, thank you.
Yeah.
So that. Maybe his experiences weren't spectacular. Maybe he saw, if you've already lost two quarterbacks, Riley Leonard and Daniel Jones to injury, perhaps you don't protect the quarterback very well. And, that enters into it.
Jeff, it also speaks to how the Broncos take care of their own here.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, I've spoken to GMs in the league who say, just from what they know about the new facility and how they see things unfolding, there is a genuine, not concern, but that it's on the radar of GMs all over the league that how they're doing business here, locking up with extensions because they have more cash than anybody else does. They're going to have the best facility in the league when it opens. I don't think anyone disputes that. They can have a bigger scouting staff, a bigger coaching staff. They have one of the most expensive coaching staffs in the league. There's no salary cap on luxury, as it were. If you want more scouts, you can have them. You want more coaches, you can have them. You want more nutritionists, you can have them. And they're going to have and do have everything here, and people have noticed.
I've sort of given up the ghost on Marvin Mims as a wideout at this point. At this point, okay? They seem pretty content with what they got. Maybe with the Bryant situation, it will change Sunday. But damn, when you're talking about the special teams player of the week again and this guy's ability to return the football, Jeff, maybe I'm just going to be satisfied with having him in that particular role and being a Pro Bowler, because I forget who said it about a month ago when he was injured. Was it Brett or Vic or whatever? You don't know what you got till it's gone. And when it's back, you're like, oh, yeah, got to have me some of that.
Well, I'm one who would say until they give him a legitimate look at wide receiver or in the offense, I'm always going to say I'd like him to use him more. I mean, I don't see anything in practice or training camp or ever out here that would make it so that he doesn't get touches in the game. I don't understand why he doesn't get more touches. They can't convince me of why he doesn't get more touches. Until he gets all those touches and nothing happens, I'm always going to say I'd like to see more in the offense. And it's hard for me to believe that an offensive staff that has, been sort of always lauded for its creativity and ability to get guys open won't put that guy on offense more. But for whatever reason, I think bottom line is Sean Payton likes bigger receivers, and that's just part of it. And, as a vertically challenged human, that's something you can't really control. It's not really Marvin Mims's fault. He's not taller, but I'd sure throw him the ball a lot more and see what happens.
All right, last one from us, and ESPN's Jeff Legwald is our guest. I am wondering if there are any whispers now that the stress is starting to ratchet up and the time of year is what it is. Are there any concerns about this team's ability to play complementary football in the postseason from inside the locker room?
I don't think they have those kinds of concerns right now. And if they did, I'm not sure players would voice that right now. That's something post-mortem. They might say, yeah, we were worried in November or whatever, but I don't get a sense they're worried. I think they think an awful lot of their ability to find just enough to win games. I think they think that's part of their DNA. I will say I've covered a lot of teams, and this one does sort of care about each other more than a lot of teams I've been around. They genuinely care about what's happening, to the other guys in the locker room. So, is that worth 2 points or 1 point or any points? I don't know, but I do know the best teams I've ever seen sort of have that quality.
I got one more. Pro Bowl voting is opened up, fan voting, and I'm looking at some of the votes coming in, and the Broncos clearly with that defense, they got guys up there. Hufanga is number 2 among strong safety. Zach Allen is number 2 among defensive tackles. I'm seeing Benito number 2 among outside linebackers. What's interesting, Jeff, help explain to me, top 10 corners, no Patrick Surtain on that list.
I don't know. It's like the guy won Defensive Player of the Year award, and everybody's now going to try and convince us he's not very good. It's ridiculous. There aren't 2 corners better than Pat Surtain, let alone 10. So the guy's the best corner in football, and I don't care how many times it gets flagged. I don't care how many little stupid shallow crossers get completed in front of him that don't mean anything. The guy's the best corner in football, and I hope people are enjoying him. I hope this isn't like a Demaryius Thomas situation where the guy's one of the best players I've ever seen, and he isn't appreciated till he's not in a Bronco uniform. Pat Surtain's the best corner in football, and I hope people enjoy watching him play.
That is ESPN's Jeff Legwald, brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 68. Start with a job, end with a career. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it, man.
You bet.
Very exciting, Jeff. Thank you.
It is. I mean, Broncos are the number 1 seed in football, guys. I mean, we prayed for times like
Crazy
these
time.
just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but again, this should tell you about the number 1 seeds in football.
Both Patrick Surtain, now top 10 corner.
That's screwy because people smoke weed, Vic, I guess. I don't know why. But here's what should tell you something there, Matt. You got the 2 best teams in football, the 2 number 1 teams in football at 11-2. They're both home dogs this week.
I know.
So what? I mean, what does that tell you?
Tells you that everybody's not convinced yet.
You're damn right.
Wide open.
Absolutely. Hey, guess who's the number 1 vote getter in punters in the National Football League?
Crawdad.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Big cult following, huh? Jeremy Crawshaw. Good for him. Good for
put
him.
another shrimp on the barbie and vote for me.
It is a Nuggets Ticket Thursday. Your keyword for the 9 o'clock hour comes up next. You're not going to want to miss it. You could win tickets to see Rockets and Nuggets on Monday, plus an Aaron Gordon bobblehead. Text Juwan, Juwan, to 303-504-0925 with your first and last name, and you're entered to win. Tickets are available for all 3 home games next week, including 2 matchups with the new look Rockets. Visit nuggets.com/tickets to purchase. Again, your 920 keyword is Juwan. That's Juwan. So text it to 303-504-0925 now to enter.
Question to you, Matt.
Okay.
Did Juwan Howard play for the Rockets too? I guess he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
So these are guys, all these guys are guys who have played for both the Nuggets and the Rockets.
That is true.
That's why I caught on, okay? Matt,
You did.
I figured
You
that was the
figured it
case. Yeah, but I had to get Juwan Howard in there for sure. Hey, Vic, real quick. Some weed people took a little bit of umbrage.
Huh?
From the 9506. Hey, Moj, I smoke weed every day, and I know that PS2 is the best cornerback in the league for the last 3 years, and I know that Jokic is the best basketball player in the world for the last 5 years. So when you said, why is it Pat Surtain top 10, and I made a flippant remark saying, I don't know, maybe they smoke weed, Vic. And this weed guy goes, hey, man, I smoke weed, and I know.
That's neat.
So I guess smoking weed does not, that every day does not preclude you from recognizing that PS2 is the best corner in the league.
No, that's good stuff, man.
Okay, good.
100% pure stuff.
Right.
David Adelman spoke to the media yesterday, and the Nuggets are back in action after a little bit of a break. They had a 3-game East Coast road trip, Vic, and clearly the topic du jour. Uh-oh, I did it again. I went French again. Sorry. I learned yesterday. I won't do that again.
No.
That just slipped out.
We're just going to get used to it by now.
That just slipped out. Jamal Murray, Western Conference Player of the Week last week. But it's clearly been a shift from the guy that we've seen to start the season for the majority of his career. Coach Adelman was asked about it.
Right. I don't know. I mean, it was a conversation with Jamal. You know, open communication sometimes leads to positive things. Sometimes the whole idea of it can be just an idea. And it doesn't work out. But from what I saw this summer, mentally, physically, all those things were at such a high level. And it's cool to see that translate into the season. You know, Jamal's been a special player forever. I don't really judge his starts each season, but obviously this one has been one that will stand out just because of the way he's played, not just the way he scored the ball and the efficiency, but the way he's got off the ball when he needs to for his teammates. So happy with Jamal's start, happy with the team start, you know, outside this random thing at home.
He talked about a conversation that they had with Jamal Murray, and he continued on a little bit, but how important do you think it was for the Nuggets franchise to go to Jamal this offseason now that Coach Malone, they moved on from him, right? Now that Calvin Booth is out the door and the tension that existed between Jamal and Calvin. Yeah. How important was it that they sat him down and got on the same page?
Well, it meant everything. You know, John Wallace is the one who raised his hand and said, yeah, we'll chat. And I'm not sure how that conversation went. And frankly, I mean, as a professional, listen, you're going to take constructive criticism, and some take it better than others. He clearly did in this accord. I don't know how that conversation went. Was it sort of like, hey, let's go? Or was it, we think if you do this, whatever it was, he's staying healthy, he's playing hurt. I mean, remember the ankle injury, comes back and scores 52, and he's doing more than just scoring. That's the key here. Everybody looks at scoring. He's averaging more now than he did at any point through the first 2 months of his career, okay? But it's the other stuff. The assists are up. The rebounds are up. In the game against, what game was that? Atlanta. Do you remember late in the game, Atlanta had the ball in the final minute, down by 2. Porzingis is driving, and he had the ball stripped away from him. Stripping it was Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He's doing some things defensively as well. Now, is he perfect there? No. But I think his all-around game is just a better player now.
You know, when you win a title, there's a sense of satisfaction that has to come with that because you've worked so hard to get there. You've come close. You had a great bubble, so on and so forth. But you finally get it. And when you get that big fat ring on your finger and it feels like a boat anchor is weighing you down, right? There's a certain, okay, well, we've done that. And I think that's natural for anybody. Which is why, again, I was so impressed with Kansas City for so long, the motivation every year for the Chiefs to continue to play that kind of football when they've already won 3 and they're there all the time. It's amazing to me. but there's a certain sense for the best, like I think Jamal is, where that hunger has to maybe dissipate a tiny bit, and then it's back with a vengeance. And that's what I think we're seeing right now with Jamal Murray. I think we're seeing that renewed vigor, that renewed hunger. And by the way, he probably also recognizes that at this point in his career, he's not going to have too many opportunities to be an all-star from this point on. I mean, look, the West being what it is and him being who he is, and look, he's not an old guy, but he's in his upper 20s. And because he is, this opportunity is not going to present itself an awful lot. So I love his commitment. I love his mentality right now. I love everything about his game. And if a season like this, shooting over 50%, averaging 25 per, up with the assists at 7, the boards at 5 and whatnot, if that can't get you into an all-star game, then I don't know what can. But I love the way he's approached this season. I'm sure he had a talking to. I'm sure a lot of it is self-motivation in regards to Jamal Murray. I'm very pleased with what we're seeing out of him, for sure.
Adelman continued.
Yeah, I think it was an organizational conversation, too. It's just about, it's not really the physical sometimes for guys. It's just the mental. And maybe releasing some of the pressure that he's felt and just becoming more of a leader with the guys. Going through your summer, understanding what working too hard means going into an 82-game season and what feeling fresh means, but being mentally stronger. I think that stuff actually translates. It sounds like I'm writing a book, a self-help book or something, but it really is true. Like, you go into this thing and everybody's got good juice when the season starts, but once you get into the grind of it, that's the hard part. And so far, he's just kept himself at this this perfect level, not too high, not too low. Successes are fun, but the next day comes, and that's kind of how he's handled it, in my opinion. So it's really cool to watch.
Vic, when the Nuggets have dealt with injuries in the last couple of years, I think back to, I want to say the year before they won the title. That was the playoff run with Facundo Campazzo as your starting point guard, right?
What year was this?
Wasn't that 22?
I don't remember the year, but I remember Facu playing that role, and I think they went and played at Portland. Yeah.
And so I'm saying that there have been multiple different instances over the last 6 years of this Nuggets run or ascension or however you want to call it, that Jokic has been relied upon so much so because not only have they been dinged up elsewhere, they haven't had a strong bench, but it's this guy. It's Robin to his Batman hasn't been showing up every night. And the fact that you're down 2 starters, CB and AG, sure, Tim Hardaway Jr. is definitely stepping up, and let's not make light of it. And sure, Peyton Watson's playing better. And they're getting great production out of Spencer Jones. But really, the huge part of it here as to why they haven't slipped without some of these guys in the lineup, it's Jamal.
Let me make it very easy for you. The Denver Nuggets won an NBA championship, and that season they had 2 superstars on the team. Everywhere you went in the playoffs, Joker and Jamal and Joker. When they beat the Lakers 4 straight, it was Joker and Jamal and Joker. In that Miami series, there were 2 triple-doubles in one game. Joker and Jamal and Joker. If they want to return to that status, that's what you need to have.
Well, they got it right now, and there's no question. And it's not all they have because, as I said, they've added depth, right? Like, they moved on from MPJ, and I look at the numbers he's putting up in Brooklyn right now, and I'm impressed. Has he surpassed your expectations in Brooklyn, Vic?
Yeah, he has. But, I also knew that he's going to his numbers were going to balloon because, he's option 1 or 2 up there every time. And here he was not. That's just, you could take any player, like Jeremy Grant. Remember when Jeremy Grant left Denver because he wanted more of a role?
He wanted to be number 1.
He scored more. Yeah, I mean, so
good for him. But do you want to? But do you want to win, or do you want to?
That's what he's saying.
Just get yours. Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Hell of a difference.
Some people want money, and if somebody offers you a contract that is more than the one you get here, substantially more, you're going to take it, Moshe.
Well, there's no doubt, Vic. But at the same time, the winning has to figure. The winning would figure into me for some of that. If I've already won.
But it's not the number 1.
No, if I've already won, it's bag. Yeah, I mean, and again, I'll tell you what Big 50 said. I mean, it's, do I have a job? Am I playing? Mm-hmm. How much am I getting paid? The winning is down the list for a lot of guys. And you know what? Rightfully so it should be because it's hard to win and you want to get paid and make the most out of your sports career. That's fine. But in a situation like the Denver Nuggets with the best player on earth and a guy who's an all-star guy right now and a guy who's shown it in the postseason to be superstar stuff, and other guys who have bought in like AG and CB and, everybody else, then you got to find where your fit is. So you have to understand that coming in.
And with those depth pieces, I was listening to Adelman talk about Tim Hardaway Jr., and don't take it for granted that a guy like that comes from an environment and a culture like they had in Dallas where, all right, maybe it's, not impressive, even though they did make a run to the finals a couple of years ago, but that's a guy who's played in a ton of big basketball games, Vic, who's been relied upon to be a producer and a defender. That's the culture they come from. And you talked to me about this yesterday, just how hard it is to defend in the NBA right now on the perimeter. Well, they're missing their 2-point of attack defenders.
They are. And by the way, I saw Christian Brown at practice the other day. He's not going to play this week, or maybe Christmas week he'll have an opportunity, maybe. But he's out of his walking boot, so that's good news. Julian Strawther is not going to play tonight, but he at least took some shots at practice. He's closer. I don't think AG's anywhere, to be totally blunt. I don't think you're going to see him until the new year, minimum. But Julian and Christian in the next couple weeks could make their way back onto the court.
Man, if there's one thing I don't understand on this planet, it's hamstrings.
It's the worst. That's if you had.
You ever pulled one?
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, some people.
Yeah, but we're not in shape. I mean, we're a couple of scrubs over here. Of course we pulled hammies. Am I wrong?
No.
I mean, look at us.
You pull a hammy walking up the stairs, for crying out loud.
No, but I mean, see, people say they pulled a hammy. There's a big difference
between
like,
pulling a hammy and pulling a hammy.
Yeah, tearing your hamstring. Yeah, no question about it. This was David Adelman talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. and the addition he's been to this team while they've been shorthanded.
Yeah, Tim has been so good for us in the locker room, too. There's a veteran leadership thing there where the energy doesn't change day to day. He's been everything we thought he'd be and more. The shot making, just the threat of what Tim can be nightly isn't intangible, man. I can't imagine scouting us because you'd have to talk about him and just how dangerous the guy is. But leadership's been great. And I think, honestly, we kept him in defensively in Atlanta the other night, closed the game with him. He's been really good defensively as well. I thought he did a really nice job on Brandon Miller the other night. He's a hard guy to guard. So competitiveness, just going through all the things that he's been through in his career, translating to our locker room has been such a big deal.
So you've got 31 points in the last 2 games from Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. Think about what we were looking at last postseason. Russell Westbrook, he started some games, right? But he was mostly coming off the bench. He averaged almost 12 points per game. Beyond that, the next closest bench player was Peyton Watson at 4.5 points per game, Vic. In last year's playoffs.
It's a different deal now. It's a different beast. And I think Nuggets fans, we need to understand something. Sometimes timing is everything. You lost 2 starters, 2 defensive gems. It could not have happened at a better time when you look at the schedule, because the schedule has not been that difficult during this stretch compared to the rest of the schedule. Tonight's game represents probably the last, and I don't want to call it an easy game because you know the way I feel about that, but the last, you should win this damn game for a long time. I'm looking at the rest of this run. Utah, okay, but after that, they got minefield games coming up. Minnesota, at Orlando, at Toronto, at Cleveland. I mean, there are some tough stretches here. So the fact that the Denver Nuggets have the second best record in the Western Conference and they've been missing 2 starters for this stretch, that's a win.
It is a double dip tonight with the Avs hosting the Florida Panthers. The Nuggets, of course, back on the road in Sacramento. We've got you covered here at Altitude Sports Radio. Pre-game for the Avs starts at 7 p.m. on 92.5, presented by Ramos Law. And pre-game for the Nuggets on AM 950, also powered by Ramos Law, starts at 7:30. Pre-game for the Avs, 7. Pre-game for the Nuggets, 7:30. And right now, it's a double dip. Keys to the game.
Do whatever it takes to win.
It's the Johnson Auto Plaza Keys to the Game. Johnson Auto Plaza. Experience the power of the plaza, where they have the keys to performance and style with Ram, Jeep, Chevy, Buick, and GMC, and a huge selection of used all in one place.
Johnson Auto Plaza.
Here's Moser, Lombardi, and Kane.
All right, Moj, let's start with you. The Avs and the Panthers finally back from the road. Not home for too long, but hosting the back-to-back defending Cup champs. What do they need to do tonight to get it done?
Florida Panthers have been sort of steady struggling at times this year. They're above 500. They're above NHL 500 at 12-2-2, so that's 15-14. Or excuse me, 15-12-2. They're 15-14. But again, it's been difficult. And without Matthew Tkachuk this entire year, it's been really hard. They've dealt with other injuries as well, including now Luosterainen out with burns and that kind of thing. But they're playing in the back-to-back. Florida last night went into Salt Lake City and got a win against the Mammoth. And so Bobrovsky went last night. So if Bob went last night, I'm thinking that Daniil Tarasov is going to get the go between the pipes tonight for the Florida Panthers. He's under 500 this year, although his numbers in terms of goals against and really his save percentage is pretty good. But pound him early. And I mean pound. Vic, when I say pound, I mean pound. And pound. And just pound. Yeah. By the way, also get the power play at home is so much better than the power play on the road, which is why they're 25th overall in the National Hockey League. They did have a power play goal against the Preds late. Man, if you could get 2 power play goals, you win this game. Period. End of story. Done and done.
Love that goal. Now over to you, Vic. It's the Nuggets after a little bit of a respite here on the road in Sacramento, a game that they inserted into the lineup after the Nuggets missed that next round of the NBA Cup.
Kings are without 2 of their top 3 players. Their leading scorer, Zach LaVine, is out tonight. Their third leading scorer, Domantas Sabonis, who's also their leading rebounder, is out tonight. That leaves DeMar DeRozan. The Kings have lost 5 of 6. Now, we've seen this story before. They came into Denver a couple weeks ago on a 9-game losing streak and shocked the Nuggets. We saw that game. Nuggets cannot lose tonight. Nuggets cannot lose tonight. Just do your thing.
If they lose tonight, I'm not showing up tomorrow.
All right.
Is that a promise?
Yeah.
Make it 11 straight on the road.
You may want them to lose, but they are not. They cannot lose this game. And look at it. Look, the Nuggets are the number 1 scoring team in the entire league. Oklahoma City's number 2. You know what the difference is and why the damn Thunder are 22-1 or whatever?
First of all, they're 12-0 at home.
They give up 106 per. The next closest team is 110. Yeah. They're the best defensive team in the entire NBA. If the Nuggets played a lick of D, consistently.
My last key to the game, and a simple one, is Malik Monk has been a Nuggets killer when he plays. Contain Malik Monk.
I like that one. Again, your 920 keyword is Juwan, Juwan. 303-504-0925. Enter now to win. We will pick a winner here coming up in the next segment. Also on the other side, a new wrinkle to that massive story with the University of Utah and private equity in college football. This one makes all the sense in the world, and I'll explain next.
I'm telling you right now, if he'd gone to Greece, he would not get a double dip at the Roo. It's good stuff, Al. Nice job. Hey, listen, are you thinking about a mountain property? Write down this number. Snow's flying. Base is looking good. 970-968-7646. That is Anastasia Bell. She's a broker associate with Breckenridge Associates Real Estate in Breckenridge. That number again, 970-968-7646. Mountain properties are special. Whether it's a second home, a rental, even your dream home, you're going to need a pro for Summit County and beyond. And her market expertise and experience, it's unbelievable. And that's going to matter when you're dealing with a sale or purchase like that. You need to know that the person that you're dealing with, that agent is somebody that you can trust, somebody that has your back, and somebody that's going to personally guide you all the way through. Her service is exceptional. So when you're thinking about it, again, give that number a call, 970-968-7646. Her name again, Anastasia Bell. Remember that.
Follow along on the Safeway Twitch stream. Order online, Safeway does the rest. Get easy delivery or free pickup. With the same great deals, get started now at Safeway.com or on the Safeway app. Safeway, fresh foods, local flavors. Last segment here on a Thursday, guys, and news across the wire here this morning. I guess, is it the wire anymore? It's not the wire. It's just news this morning. Shedeur Sanders named the Rookie of the Week for Week 14. How about that?
Wow. Well, rightfully so.
I mean, he counted for 4 touchdowns. It's got to count for something. I mean, they lost the game, but
when you throw for 3 bills.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was interesting.
Dude, let's have this conversation a year from now. This is where I'm at. I'm glad he's starting the rest of the year. I don't even think it's on him. It might be a lot on him in terms of what the Browns think. But I am flat out curious to see what the Cleveland Browns do with him and what direction they go in the offseason, because I have no idea. I hope he wins his way into the starting job. But, boy, I would not be shocked if they try to bury him again somehow. It's just a weird relationship.
Moser, they have a Deshaun Watson problem.
That's it.
And they don't know what to do with it.
He's not going to stay healthy. He's going to break down.
Moj, you know how much money they owe that guy?
I know, dude. I know.
Way too much. Just an egregious amount of money.
A lot of bread.
Egregious. So, Moj, you weren't here at the third hour yesterday. You were on the flight back from Nashville. But we talked about the story where the University of Utah has now entered into a partnership with the private equity firm to essentially have a for-profit arm overseeing their athletic department, for more or less. And we explained how this is all in an effort to keep up with the Joneses. It's an arms race. You're trying to also preserve you're trying to preserve women's sports. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
For the most part.
So let me get this straight then, Matt. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old.
You got it.
They're going into partnership with an equity firm because they can't do it all on their own and stay up with the big boys.
Yep.
They need to create a for-profit situation, and these guys are going to help them out because they're going to get a little profit, and Utah's going to get plenty of profit.
Moj, the big boys can't keep up with the big boys. There are athletic programs losing money across the board.
Okay, so this is you're turning over part of your independence as a university to this private equity firm in terms of athletics
100%.
in order to stay relative, you think, because you've got to be able to raise a lot of capital.
But there's also an ulterior motive here, and it goes back to what Vic has been saying, that eventually, 10, 15 years down the line, we are headed for another realignment period in college football specifically, where eventually we will get super conferences. You're going to mesh the Big Ten and the SEC, probably pick and choose a few teams from the Big 12, maybe one or two from the ACC, and those are going to be, your Tier 1 super conference teams. That's what's going to happen.
So we're Tier 2? We're going to be Tier 2. I mean, officially Tier 2 here around these parts.
TBD.
Colorado Buffaloes ain't getting into super conference.
Unless they work out some sort of private equity deal. I tend to agree with you the way it looks right now. But I think it's besides the point because this is the bigger point. And we spoke about some of the comments yesterday from the university president and their AD. I was reading more about this last night, and I think this is what it all boils down to, boys. Quote, at its heart, this framework creates what I like to call college town magic. A best-in-class experience for students and the entire campus community, said President Tony Randall in March. Each decision, campus transformation, private equity, etc., stacks upon each other for potential growth. While not publicly or outwardly stated, the hope has been that these goals and decisions, like partnering with the private equity firm Otro Capital, will help Utah earn an eventual landing spot in a Power 2 conference, namely the Big Ten, for further sustainability within athletics and the university's mission. So that's what it's about.
Sounds like a bunch of lawyers speak to me.
Yeah, but what it's really about is about even leveling up from the Big 12.
We don't want to get left out.
And now you're starting to see everybody push their chips into the middle for the eventuality that this will all change again. That's what's going on, Vic.
The only problem is when you give up your when you're paid for by that equity firm, who makes a decision? And in my world, the money makes the decision always. The money does.
Oh, baby. You're getting into a very slippery situation here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is the AD making the choices? Is the coach making the choices?
Or the firm?
Is the firm making the choices?
Mm-hmm. The firm is always listening.
This is do you see?
Yeah, that quarterback's not performing, guys. We got to do something about it. Hey,
we
let
go
me coach.
From,
really?
But we go from Vic, who was the quarterback at Ohio State that got busted for the jersey?
Terrell Pryor?
Was it Terrell Pryor?
The autograph.
The tats.
That was the autograph.
Oh, was it the tats? Okay. We go from that to venture capital firms taking over athletic departments. I mean, for God's sake, bro.
We're at light speed.
Bro,
we went from 0 to light speed.
Bro, look, I'm not the number one business guy in the world, but even I can see that you are treading into waters where if you don't have institutional control of your own crap, you're in trouble, bro. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
It's just it just doesn't feel like college sports. It just doesn't.
It's not. It really is.
Not.
So then it isn't. It's not college sports.
So what is also going to happen is you're going to have donors invest in this new company, Utah Brands and Entertainment. Okay. And did you see that story the other day about
Troy? My money.
Oh, That's what Troy Aikman said after he tried and that blew up in his face. Did you see what he said about the deal and the NIL money he gave to UCLA, Vic? Did you see this?
Yeah. He said, I'm done.
Well, he paid Dante Moore a bunch of money, and then Dante Moore up and left for Oregon the next year. And he's like, well, he never gave me so much as a thank you. I was like, have you dealt with these Gen Z kids? They maybe have the worst manners of any generation.
They don't even know where that money's coming from.
I mean, it's just not a surprise. So, but Moj said something to the group chat the other day that I think plays into this very well. How about this for another cherry on top of this you-know-what Sunday?
Brainchild of Arkansas coach John Calipari said, hey, if I go ask a booster or a business or even my school's rev share for $1 million to get a player, what happens if that player gets injured on day one, doesn't play? Player still gets his money, which is great, but everyone else is out. Enter booster insurance. Enter 32 teams, a group that's offering, backed by Lloyd's of London, a deal where Arkansas is going to pay 3% premium to get this thing insured. $30,000 on $1 million player. If that player is lost in the season before January 15th, Arkansas gets all its money back.
I'm
if
out.
It's by February 15th, they get half.
Yeah,
the player's lost.
I'm
the
out.
School gets to take.
I'm out. I'm out.
I know.
I'm out.
I know.
I'm out.
It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. This is just the start, guys. It really is.
It's look, man. I didn't want to pay the players, not because I don't want the players, not because I didn't think they were getting screwed, and they were. It's because I believe I had the foresight to realize that this is going to get way, way out of control fast. And we're not even near the end of the rainbow yet.
Pay that man his money.
The point is that it's like there is no middle ground here. It's either you can't pay a kid anything or a stipend, or it's a friggin' nuclear arms race. It's insane.
It's insane. And you brought it up. Like, just go back 20 years. Give them a little bit more in their stipends. Give them another meal per day. I wonder where we eventually get if they would have just been proactive and understanding that the players deserved some share of the pie because they're the ones making you all this coin anyway. Tons more to get into about college sports throughout the next couple of weeks.
But how do you think those who are such big advocates, you think they're still on the same page, being such big advocates for players getting paid, quote, what they're worth?
No, a lot of them already, a lot of those advocates, because I've spoken to some, they said, we're going in the right direction. We're just going there too quickly without guardrails.
We'll have more time to talk about it coming up in the next couple of days and next couple of weeks. Your winner, by the way, for Rockets and Nuggets tickets and an Aaron Gordon bobblehead is Daryl Bostwick. Daryl Bostwick, 303-504-0925. Congratulations. Call in, text in. You get these tickets.
Did you go to that Avs thing last night? That looked fun.
I did not. No, I did not go last night, but I will be at the game tonight and doing some interviews with some of the guys from the 30th anniversary team for all of the fans at the rink to see. Tonight's game is on ESPN.
Quick
so
fact checker,
I'm not doing
Nelly?
the game.
Nelly monitors the mistakes in today's Fact Checker. Presented by Rock Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Your local home comfort specialists. RockHeating.com. Rock, bringing comfort home and simplifying your life.
Yesterday, when Phillip Rivers, that's the right fader. There, fact checker, I was pulling the wrong fader. Yesterday, when Phillip Rivers addressed the media in Indy, this is the first thing he said when he stepped up to the podium before anyone even got the chance to ask him a question.
All right. No Zoom. Let's go.
And I totally forgot. The last time he played football, we were still in the doldrums of COVID, and I forgot about all the Zoom press conferences. Last time he spoke to the media, it was through a webcam. It was not at a podium in front of everyone.
Hey, before we get out of here, Vic, you got a special guest for us tomorrow. Let the people know.
Jim Mora, head coach of the CSU football Rams, will join us at, 9:30, Nelly?
Yeah, 9:20.
9:20.
You won't want to miss that. I can't wait.
Coming to the studio, or is he going to be on the phone?
No, we get the Zoom. We get the Zoom, and I guess that'll just have to be good for us.
So they heard you getting on his case a little bit. Is that what happened?
We'll explain more tomorrow.
Cool. I'm excited. I think it's a friggin' awesome hire.
Moser, Lombardi, and Kane with Matt Smith on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
It's the morning sprint, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. A double dipperoo this evening on Altitude Sports Radio. Both the Avalanche and the Nuggets playing. Nuggets in Sacramento, an 8 p.m. Mountain tip. You can hear that on 9:50 a.m. And tonight on ESPN, the Avs take on the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers at home at Ball Arena, coming off of a 4-game road trip in which they got 5 of a possible 8 points. Alex Ryanemi alongside the coach Mike Sanford, who will be along shortly. KJ Granderson, after a 2-day absence, is back today. KJ, welcome back. Chris Mitchell doing well in your stead. We've got football, basketball, hockey all in one night. And if you guys want to go somewhere to watch all 3 of those games, hang out with Tyler Polumbus at Stoney's on Lincoln to watch it all. He's giving away a Super Bowl ring. Actually, I'm just kidding. He's not going to do that. But you can enter to win a signed Steve Atwater Broncos helmet and other great prizes. It's going to be a great night, and it's all brought to you by the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. That is Tullamore Dew. We will see you guys at number 38 in Rhino this evening alongside Tyler Polumbus. It is a Nuggets Ticket Thursday. We're giving away tickets on the 20s every single hour here from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Honestly, it's the coolest bobblehead I've ever seen, KJ. I know we gave away that special edition Cup champion Joe Sakic bobblehead.
And that thing
you
was
weren't
nice.
here when we gave that away on Tuesday, but it's pretty sweet. I don't think it looks like Joe Sakic, but this one of Aaron Gordon is the dopest bobblehead I've ever seen. Not only does it bobble, but it hangs on the rim and goes back and forth. We're giving this thing away. So make sure you guys dial in on your keywords. Our first keyword's coming up at 10:20. Second keyword at 11:20 today as we get ready for the Broncos and the Green Bay Packers coming up on Sunday. This will be, without a doubt, the toughest game that the Broncos have all season. We talked about it with Burrow. We talked about it yesterday as coach returned from his day off. This wide receiving core for Green Bay feels as deep as any wide receiving core that Denver has seen this season. Without a doubt, Coach.
Deep,
but
inconsistent.
Inconsistent. They've been better as of late.
But if you watch the last 3 years, as I have watched closely, there's been a lot of dropsies. And the one very, very consistent and healthy and reliable target for Jordan Love is no longer available. That's Tucker Kraft. Right now, Christian Watson's on a heater. Right now, Romeo Doubs seems like he's not in his own way because at times he looks like a guy that's about ready to implode. You'll see it. If he drops an early one, you'll all of a sudden see one of the top 2 receivers look like he's in the jar on the sideline. I like Dontavian Wicks. He's starting to come back and make some plays. Bo Melton, he's had a bit of an appearance as of late. You know what I feel like with their receiving core, probably outside of Christian Watson, it feels a little bit Bronco-ish in the sense that it's been a revolving door of who's number 1, who's number
guy?
2, who's number 3. And right now, the number 1 is Christian Watson.
The one who's supposed to be the top wide receiver on that team is the first rounder from last year. That's Matthew Golden.
He's been quiet.
Now he's young. He's 22, and he hasn't played the entire season. Christian Watson is the go-to guy. And you know
he
what?
Was a first or second round?
He was a first rounder last year.
No, sorry, Christian Watson.
Christian Watson was a second rounder. It was either 23 or 22.
Out of North Dakota State.
Yes.
Tall, speedy.
It's funny. It's a very similar build to who Cortland Sutton is.
It is. He just Cortland Sutton's been able to be more healthy, more consistent. Christian Watson's also struggled with the drops.
Right outside of the one season he lost to the ACL in his second year.
Correct. And that's been Christian. And Christian Watson had the unfortunate ending to his season a year ago and just seems to be actually the best version that he's been in the National Football League, at least for 3-4 weeks. They're scary, Raj. Like they're going to roll up, and Jordan Love, with his ability to bite the pin off the grenade and launch the football over the wall, and then also to have speedsters that can get behind a defense, it's scary. But I will say, like, the way that the Denver Broncos play defensively, a lot of tightly contested man coverage, it's going to test Jordan Love's accuracy. He's got it. But I'd say I like Jordan when I was coaching. I loved when we saw zone coverage. He's going to go to work. I loved throwing 4 verts with Jordan, man. Getting in the seams, those dead areas of a zone. In man coverage, it's a little bit like Bo Nix. You got to fit balls. I had this epiphany last night. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Because whereas I think Bo Nix and this receiving core struggled at times is against man coverage, press coverage teams. And what does defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley run? Predominantly a cover 1 and 3 match scheme. The two defenses are going to be looking at each other, essentially pointing at each other, saying, you're a reflection of me.
Kind of the Kansas City-Houston game that we saw the other week.
Very similar. Very similar. And even when you see the 49ers, when they're at their pinnacle defensively under Robert Saleh, it looks almost identical to any of the Robert Saleh, Vic Fangio, DeMeco Ryans disciples. They're all running that essentially that quarters coverage, and they're pretty dang good at it because they run the simulated pressures. They do it out of 3 down, 4 down, bear fronts. But this is going to be a game that I think is going to be determined by which quarterback and which receiving core can connect on the tight window throws and create the separation against man coverage. Because I don't think either team is going to be able to really effectively run the football. Because what does cover 1 mean? It means that there are not 2 high safeties. It is not shell coverage. What happens with that other defender, Raj? He's in the box. So there's going to be crowded, populated boxes. And as a result, I don't think you're going to see anywhere near 150-yard performance for either rushing offense.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be lower than that.
If there's any rushing offense that has the ability to go for 150 plus, it's Josh Jacobs. If he sees the ball 25 times, he's the only back in this game that has the ability. We haven't seen it at our RJ Harvey yet. Like maybe it's there now that he has this expanded role, but Jacobs is the only guy in this game that I could go. If he goes off for 130 and a score, I get it. I understand. You mentioned popping the top off of defenses and getting behind safeties being a strength for Jordan Love. When you were either coaching him or coaching other quarterbacks at the college level, how did you diagnose the skill of drawing a pass interference call as a quarterback?
Great question. That's an awesome question because there is an art to it. And when I was coming up learning the game as a quarterback, we drilled. There's this pre-practice drill, Braj. You've probably seen it a million times when you show up to a football game. 45 minutes earlier, you're in your seats and you're like, what's going on here? Essentially, it's called pat and go. And it's a quarterback just pats the football and somebody just runs a half speed, 3/4 speed, just vertical fade route. And the ball is typically thrown right in stride, dropped right on the outside shoulder, and it hits him essentially like you're training the receiver. When I throw this go ball, I'm going to hit you in perfect stride. And this is going to be the mechanics of where you're going to keep the defender on my inside hip. I'm going to hold that ground until the very last second, and I'm going to fade away to the outside. That's a little bit of 1990s, early 2000s football. We still run the drill, but we've changed the throws in the drill. Okay, so what does that mean? Instead of throwing the perfect in stride, I'm running my 4.40, I peek up and the football is going to be whoop, right in my perfect stride. Now all of a sudden, the odds and the analytics have come back and said,
underthrow the ball.
So I say it's this. I call it the halo effect. So if you're playing in any type of role-playing game or even like Madden or FIFA, like the better the receiver or better the target in the air, the larger that circle gets around him.
Yeah, I can see that.
I always tell a quarterback, throw it in that halo, and I call it a proximity ball. Don't throw the perfect in-stride ball. Throw the proximity ball. Therefore, your guy can either go up and high point the football or at the very least, that defensive back that has the disadvantage because his back is turned to the football, he's going to nudge you as you're going up to get the football and you're going to draw the pass interference. So that's it. That's been a change. You hear the word back shoulder throw a lot. I don't really love the back shoulder throw because the back shoulder throw is almost like precise and it's so firmly thrown.
It's a driven ball.
It's a driven ball that oftentimes it ends up just being an incompletion without even a chance for a PI. Refs love seeing that ball dangle up there. Like, oh yeah, because it gives them more time to be able to watch and assess the body fighting that's happening as the ball's in the air between the defensive back and the receiver. So I think that's going to be important. Now, I think Bo Nix throws a really good proximity ball, and I liked that started to come back alive to Cortland Sutton, and that's going to be impactful in this contest because you're going to get those 50-50 opportunities. And while I do like the defensive backfield of the Green Bay Packers, it's good. Obviously, Jair Alexander moved on. I think he was a cancer anyway. I still think that this is going to be a good matchup on both sides, both the Packers receivers versus the DBs of the Denver Broncos, and then also the Broncos offensive, their receivers versus the Packers DBs.
A player who did not participate in practice yesterday is not set to practice today.
I hate this.
Of Green Bay.
Oh, I like
Josh Jacobs with his knee injury did not practice yesterday. Matt LaFleur said today, this coming from CBSSports.com, as he spoke to Rob Demovsky of ESPN.
Ooh, who we're going to be talking to.
We're going to have Demovsky on today at 11:30.
Correct.
11:30, Rob Demovsky. He's been battling through it, the quote from Matt LaFleur. We'll see regarding Jacob's status for Sunday's game against Denver. He did first sustain that knee injury a couple weeks ago in their win over the New York Giants. So it's my biggest point of contention in terms of like Denver's got the check mark obviously on defense, but it's not as big of a gap between, let's say, the Denver defense and the Raiders defense from last week, right? The chasm is far smaller. I think the quarterback play, you can make the argument, is comparable, although Jordan Love is certainly more, he's more dangerous in terms of scoring this year and certainly doesn't throw as many picks as Bo did, but Bo has tamped down on those picks in recent weeks. The running game is where I go, oh crap, they can actually break open the game compared to what you've done this season, especially without J.K. Dobbins. If Jacobs is out, man, that line that has now gotten up to 2.5, that's going to get closer to a pick'em.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs has been very good this year, but this doesn't completely surprise me that there is some question around his health and availability for this game. While the numbers have been good, has 12 rushing touchdowns this year. He's tied for third in the National Football League. Man, his average right now is 4 yards per carry, which is amongst qualifying running backs outside of the top 150. He has 206 carries, so he's been a bell cow. He's a top 10 most utilized runner of the football in the National Football League. But then, on those 206 carries, just 817 yards. So he's on track for a 1,000-yard season. He is a bell cow. You know what his long is on the entire season? Only 29 yards, which is a little bit surprising. His backup, this is not a very deep defense or backfield for the Green Bay Packers. Do you know much about Emmanuel Wilson, the running back?
I don't.
That's his backup. And he is exactly on par. Essentially averages exactly 4 yards per carry. He's 88 carries for 351 yards. He has been used. He's a small college player. Just in his third season was, I believe, an undrafted rookie when he came to the Packers out of Fort Valley. Ever heard of Fort Valley before? I haven't. He was let's see if he was drafted. I think he was undrafted. Undrafted free agent. And then after that, they had a good player, Marshawn Lloyd, that was a third-round draft pick out of USC. Big speedster, the same draft class as Bo Nix. Injured, he's on the IR. So running back depth is a problem right now. If Josh Jacobs can't go, you think you got a problem here in Denver? They got way bigger problem. Their backup would then be a guy named Chris Brooks, who has a total of 11 carries on the season.
That's a check of your injury report powered by Ramos Law. They're the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. A double dip today on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 and AM 950. Both the Avs and the Nuggets back in action. It's a Nugget Ticket Thursday. Your first keyword is coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's a Nugget Ticket Thursday. Today, Coach and I are headed out to Army-Navy later on today.
Say it ain't so,
Can't
Raj.
wait to go see that game. It'll be a lot of fun. We will broadcast live from Radio Row tomorrow and then head to the game. We'll do some stuff on Altitude Socials and our own personal socials throughout the few days. I'm sure we'll have beers at some point.
Maybe one crab cakes.
Maybe one crab cake. I do love a crab cake. I used to hate one. I have grown into loving them.
I like a crab cake, but I actually, strangely, I love seafood. And there are times when crab cakes they almost taste too much, not like crab.
They're too fried.
Yeah, too fried or too like bready or doughy because I like crab.
They have great soft shell crab out there.
Blue crab, man. Maryland blue crab. I'm in. I don't know if I love soft shell, but we'll give it another try. I've done it before when I recruited Baltimore.
This weekend.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun time.
Should we put our bibs on?
I don't know if I need a bib.
It's kind of fun, man.
I am being spit up on and thrown up on left, right, and center. A bib means nothing to me.
Yeah, but you know what's different is sweet baby girl is not spitting up fish smelling substances.
Do you not remember
onto
the
you.
smell of milk spit up from a baby? Has it been so many years for you?
If it's immediately fresh, it's not terrible.
If it's been sitting in there curdling for a minute.
If you give it like a good solid 11 minutes, it's not great.
I'll take crab over that.
All right, let's talk sports. This is not a great. This is the worst subject ever.
Your 1020 keyword today to win tickets to see the Nuggets take on the Rockets on Monday, and this super dope Aaron Gordon bobblehead that literally hangs from the rim and goes back and forth like he's trying to win a dunk contest. Your keyword is dream. Text the word DREAM, DREAM, that is DREAM, to 303-504-0925 right now with your first and last name, and you'll be entered. Tickets are still available to all games next week, including Rockets on Monday, the Aaron Gordon bobblehead night versus Orlando on Thursday, and the Rockets again on Saturday, 2 games against Houston in 4 consecutive nights. Visit nuggets.com/tickets to purchase. This hour's keyword is DREAM with your first last name to 303-504-0925. Coach, the story of the afternoon and the story of the evening yesterday around the sports world was the firing of head coach Chiron Moore at the University of Michigan.
Details are still vague at best as it relates to the exactness of everything that transpired with the arrest.
What we do know is and it's the one thing that you say all the time. If you are a head coach in college football, you can get fired any day you want. Just make sure it's not with cause. It seems
this is as much of a cause as you could ever find.
It seems as though, and this is the one thing that is confirmed by the school, it is an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. That's the cause. He's fired now. The things that are transpiring over the past few hours, he's still being detained by Michigan police. We don't exactly know why. There was an alleged assault, and that's the reason why he was brought into custody, but there's a lot of things that are floating around right now in terms of Coach Moore's mental health, or if he's posing a danger to former staffers, family members, stuff like that. We don't know what's happening. That'll continue to trickle in.
I feel like I've never worked with Chiron Moore, but I feel like I'm a bit connected to him in a couple different ways. One of my first coaching jobs that I got was under Willie Taggart, formerly of Florida State and Oregon, when he was a first-time head coach at Western Kentucky. Willie Taggart is connected to Chiron because of WKU and Louisville, which is where Chiron spent a lot of his time as a young coach. And Chiron then got connected with the Harbaugh tree through Willie Taggart. And then, crazy as it is, my dad was the offensive coordinator at Louisville, and his 2 graduate assistants, 2 young coaches. Actually, he had 2 graduate assistants and a quarterback that was the starter before Teddy Bridgewater took over as the starter. And these guys, 2 GAs, Chiron Moore, Shane Steichen. How wild is that? And then the quarterback, Will Stein, just got hired as the head football coach at Kentucky from the offensive coordinator position at Oregon. I like him, my dad. I'm like, what was that like? He's like, I don't know. They were all a bunch of young knuckleheads, man.
Had no idea who they were relatively at that time.
They were sharp. My dad loved working with them. They were fun. My dad loved Chiron. Chiron was a great guy to be around. And I know that a lot of people want to throw a ton of eggs in the direction of Chiron Moore. And frankly, there's nothing about this story that I like. I don't like any position that he put his family in.
No.
He has 3 little girls. I don't like all the pettiness of people on social media making it like an Ohio State, Michigan thing. And I get it, man. All of us can make massive mistakes in our life at different times. And frankly, if we're being honest, we all have. Some of them aren't quite as public as this one, for sure. I also ran into Chiron and spent some time with him at the Combine when he had just been promoted to head football coach.
And he's only been
Michigan.
the head coach for 2 full seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Bo Nix workout combine when he was a brand new head football coach. Like I literally went and spent time with him. He's great. We reconnected about having worked for my pops. He was great about it. But I do know this. There's a lot of different things, and I don't think because of college football, the money that goes into it, and then the protection that sometimes goes into protecting its own coaches, its own players by some of these very powerful institutions that are very well attorneyed up and or just do a good job of sweeping things under the rug. I'm going to tell you this, Raj, in my 19 years of coaching college football, some at the highest of levels, I've been made aware of pretty big scandals that somehow, some way never saw the light of day. So at places that I coached at, in fact, I left a place that I coached at because of a scandal that I knew that at some point was gonna get unearthed, although it never did. But I left because it was a boss of mine, and I did not like having myself under that person's leadership. And I'll tell you this, it was along a similar line as this one right here.
Okay, so I guess I don't fully understand where you're going there. Are you related to the Chiron Moore situation?
Well, Michigan apparently has known about this for a long time.
Okay, so
a long time.
How's this? If they don't lose 3 games this year and they beat Ohio State and they're knocking on the door of the college football playoff, is he fired for cause?
It depends on if this blows up in the public. There were some, I don't know if you saw it. I went down a pretty bad Twitter, an X.
Yeah, it is very widespread as to what could happen. Who was the person that actually tipped the university off?
There's that, but there's also like pictures that are dated. Like the tweet was from 2024 of Chiron and said staffer like walking randomly down a like where you can tell it's them. There were people that knew about this, Raj. Like it was starting to see the light of day. And that's the thing. Once you put yourself in that situation, if you're Chiron, it's a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb. And it seems like this was really sloppy.
So there's no amount of wins that can keep this from coming out. Because that is part.
It depends on how sloppy. What it comes down to is how sloppy were you as the person that was in the inappropriate relationship? How sloppy were you? And this appeared to be very sloppy. The more and more, like even the fact that Michigan is a public institution and people are showing salary increases, like 100% salary increase one day. And then pictures that are circulating of the two of them spending time around each other. You can't do that. And I know that in male and female workplace environments, there's always going to be like the clip that's circulating from, I think it was the Michigan spring game, where Chiron's like fraternizing with the alleged assistant, fraternizing with, and then it kind of, all of a sudden the crowd is applauding Chiron. He's kind of like, oh, hi. Like it was awkward. Oh, what are you doing? This whole situation is really unfortunate. Chiron's, he's in the wrong. He's in the wrong, period. And I think there's some the way, like, this is what I want to get back to, is the way that these massive, big money, collegiate empires are operating. It puts leaders into a place where they're the king of their own castle. They get away with things that you don't get away with in normal workplace environments until you don't.
And there's also things that you get away with that are accepted, like things that are not illegal, but skirting the rules. And I know that now NIL is a thing that, we played the clip from Coach Orgeron yesterday of you used to have to walk in the back door with the money. Now you walk in the front door.
Straight in the front door. You can be on the ADT camera. You can be on the Ring doorbell cam.
There was always this gray area with the organizations that go, oh, it'll be fine. It's okay. Don't worry. You do that. We'll be fine. Everyone else is doing it. It does eventually, from a culture standpoint, it does eventually bleed over into other things. Now, I'm not saying that every head coach in college football is going off and having inappropriate relationships with young staffers.
No, not everyone is, but you'd be surprised.
Is it Biff Poggi?
Biff Poggi
Is the
he's like
interim head
he's
coach?
like a self-made billionaire. He doesn't need this. The guy literally was the high school head coach at St. Francis, actually in Baltimore, academy that built up essentially. At the high school level, he himself was self-funding an NIL program for a high school program that made him the best program in America, talent-wise.
He was a high school coach.
Is it at St. Francis? Is that right?
St. Francis Academy in Maryland.
Yep.
He was an analyst at Michigan in 2016. Who the heck knows what that means?
Well, the reason he was hired, his son, Henry Poggi, was a national recruit. We tried recruiting him at Stanford, and we went head-to-head versus Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh ended up signing Henry Poggi, and subsequently Biff Poggi then joined the fold. And I know a lot of people that know Biff. Biff's a good dude. He's a Cuban cigar smoking. He eats whatever he sees in sight.
You can
larger than
tell
life,
that
personality wise. He was the failed head football coach at University of Charlotte. I think he was hired and fired like a year and a half later. So he's now the interim head coach. This will be just for the bowl game. They play Texas.
I was going to say, does this scandal make the Texas-Michigan Citrus Bowl, or is it the Citrus Bowl that they're playing in? No, they played in that last year. Does it make it more watchable?
No.
Or is it the Citrus Bowl? It might be the Citrus Bowl again this year. I think it is between them and Texas.
No, it doesn't. Because for Texas, this is a consolation prize, and for Michigan, you're going to have players in droves jumping into the portal and withdrawing from this game. Unless they just say, you know what? There's an opportunity for me to put a little bit more tape out there, but that would be for the players that I think are most likely backup fringe type roster players. So you're not going to get elite starter caliber players. Certainly anybody that's preparing for the draft can be like, screw this, I ain't doing this. And that's about everybody in the bowl season anyway. Bowl season is a mess.
Who takes over as head coach at Michigan?
It's pretty obvious. It's Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer,
because he's going to lose his first college football playoff game.
Because he's a known Yankee. He's a Northerner. Doesn't fit in the deep South. And the way he lost
very clearly doesn't enjoy being the head coach at Alabama.
No, doesn't he have like a hoodie of death? He wears like a black hoodie that he's never allowed to wear again or something like that.
It's his funeral attire every game.
So clearly what's happening in the most wild offseason of college football, it's going to get wilder. Because Kalen DeBoer of Alabama is going to take the Michigan job. Michigan's desperately going to do whatever it takes. They're going to pay whatever buyout is required from Alabama. Alabama's going to be okay with it, though, because Lane Kiffin
I was going to say they're going to go out and get Lane's white whale, the head coaching job at Alabama.
And guess who's going to end up getting LSU? The national champion head coach that just admitted that he used to go through the back door in the NIL world.
They're bringing Eddie O
He's
back.
going to. He got fun again.
Sign me up, man. If this is the good that comes out of a very ugly Chiron Moore Michigan situation, again, we don't know what's happening in terms of the details or in terms of the police investigation that is currently going on. He's still in custody right now in Michigan.
There was just an update from our guy Pete Thamel, which is just he's going to appear in court momentarily.
Okay, so we will eventually
tomorrow.
Okay, we will have details on that tomorrow. So I guess I'm just going to hold off on any speculation as to what's going on with Moore and Michigan police. If there's one good piece that comes out of it, Lane Kiffin leaving Mississippi for LSU and then leaving LSU for Alabama would make for the most exciting 3 games in college football that you could ever imagine. Any Bama Mississippi or Bama LSU game would be phenomenal. It would unite the Louisiana State and Mississippi fan bases like nothing else has before.
This has to happen, but it has to happen, Raj, in the next 20 days. Because I want Lane Kiffin to be able to say, I was the active head football coach for 3 SEC programs in one calendar year. Ole Miss, LSU, Alabama.
It'd be the coolest thing ever. I'm here for chaos. Give me chaos. And anything that gets Ed Orgeron back in the game and gets him back down to Baton Rouge, sign me up yesterday.
That Bussin' with the Boys interview got him the LSU job in the world where Lane Kiffin leaves for Alabama.
They've been
in the
floundering ever since. Everyone wants the Joe Burrow days back. Now, is there a Joe Burrow waiting in the wings? Probably not. But that guy seems like he's fun to play for.
Eddie O went and got him, though.
Your keyword this hour to get Nuggets tickets to see the Rockets on Monday and win a super sweet Aaron Gordon bobblehead where his head not only bobbles, but he dunks and swings on a rim. Text the word DREAM, that is DREAM, DREAM, to 303-504-0925 right now with your first and your last name. Again, that is DREAM to 303-504-0925. If you don't win with us, you can go to nuggets.com/tickets to purchase.
If you want to make some wagers on that double dipperoo, then there is no better place to go than Circa Sports Colorado. It's an app, or you could visit circasports.com today. As the Colorado weather is getting colder, I apologize. The good news is the sports action in Denver has never been hotter, and there's no better place to bet on football, basketball, and hockey than Circa Sports Colorado. It doesn't matter if you're looking to bet on football futures, postseason futures, points on the NBA basketball court or college basketball, or certainly puck line on the ice. Bet where the pros bet with Circa Sports. Make sure you check out wherever you get your apps. Download the Circa Sports Colorado app today or visit circasports.com. And as a reminder, you got to be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.